Hi! Welcome back, everybody, to Dress to Quest. I'm Nathan. I will be your DM this day. It could be your evening, it could be your morning. I don't know. We have a few folks around the world on this channel, it seems, especially one of our cast members. I'm going to jump over and do intros for all our players here. And you will notice, those of you that hi Nerdbotry, those of you that have been here before, you will notice that we are missing a player. Unfortunately, Jack is out this week, but he will be back next week. I believe he's at a toy fair in Adelaide,
Yep.
promoting his business, Project H2. So go check that out if you have some time. He makes really cool stuff like the sword that Ulrich has. All right, I'm going to do our player intro. So why don't we start with Chris?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris, and I play Aize Marley, human wizard, level 5.
Awesome.
Looking forward to today's game.
And let's pass it over to Erica.
All right. Hi, I'm Erica. I play Rin Swiftbow, Elf Ranger. I'm a Beastmaster, so I summon Falcon here every session. And also level 5.
Yeah, look at that Falcon. I love it. It's amazing.
I'll chat the Etsy. Totally not made for this purpose, but it's great stuff there.
Oh, I love it. I want a pet Bert. All right, next up is Eric.
Hey, I'm Eric Wahlberg. I'm playing Volk the Grey. He is a third level Rune Knight and a second level Bard, and human male.
Awesome. And let's go to Space.
Hey guys, I'm Space. I play an Asimar named Aspen. I am a second level Divine Sorcerer and a third level Hexblade Warlock.
Cool. And finally, let's go to Josh. Oh, you're muted, Josh?
Hi everybody, I'm Josh, also known as Winged Horizon. I play Shifty Capone, a arcane trickster rogue. Halfling arcane trickster rogue.
Excellent. And
3 foot tall.
what level are you?
I believe we're level 5.
Correct. Okay, cool. All right, I think that's it. So let's do a brief recap here, and then we're going to jump right into the action. So I'm going to pass this over. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Let me get some. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Last time we left off, our heroes had finished commandeering the ship and searching all of its various compartments. They had some tense conversations with the Lizardfolk that were on board, but they managed to come to an agreement. The Lizardfolk revealed that they need these weapons to fight off an enemy that is threatening their home. The let's see if I can do it. Sahuagin, or Sahuagin, or however else you say it. But the Sahuagin seem to be threatening their home, which is why they're getting these smuggled weapons. You all agreed to go and meet with their leader in hopes of forming an alliance. You also, through some clever use of magic and persuasion and telepathy, interrogated the captain of the ship and got some information as to where they got these weapons from and who hired them to do the job. Some fellow using the alias of Avitus, located somewhere in Neverwinter. Shifty and Aspen recognized the skyline. Lastly, we ended the episode with you discovering a secret compartment, and upon opening it, you saw 2 figures within. One figure being a human woman, in chains and prisoner garb, and another being some sort of elven figure, seemed to have aquatic features, gills, fish-like eyes, webbed hands and feet, and they were both chained up. In a kind of fit of almost rage, Volric pulled the chains off and released them, and you started to communicate with them as the woman who revealed... I don't think she actually said her name, if I remember correctly, but...
No, and I was going to ask you, so...
Yeah, so she asked for her brother, Frederick, which all of you recognize that name, as that was the Lone adventurer, the body of a person who washed up on shore a 10-day ago. A young man who washed up on shore 10 days ago that prompted this whole investigation into what may be going on. And the fear of Umberlee's tyrants, a confederacy of pirates returning to the Sword Coast to gather slaves and raid the coast. So, with that, let's jump right in. So what do y'all want to do? You see these two individuals there before you. The elf is taking water that Sethreth gathered and pouring it over their body, kind of replenishing their dried out skin. And this woman now is crouching there, distraught, and starting to weep as she heard that her brother is gone. What do you all do?
Apologies. Go ahead, please.
I would like to cautiously walk over to her and say, if you need someone to talk to, you can come talk to me.
Okay. She looks up at you. You can see she has that straight black hair with one side shaved. The hair itself is a bit matty, and those bright blue eyes look back at you, kind of poking through her olive skin, and she looks up and says, "Thank you. I just hope that he's with Torm now."
I'm sure he is. It's the damnedest thing to hear news like this from strangers, but at least we can also be seen as your saviors.
Well, thank you. I do. I am so thankful to all of you for releasing us. I'm assuming that those that run this ship are dealt with.
Yes. They're either dead or prisoners. I think perhaps two of you should use the captain's cabin. Much better place for you to recover. We can talk more when you're ready.
Yes, thank you. I think we could both use that. She looks over at the elf. She looks back at all of you. I still have no way of communicating with him. He seems to only speak Elvish. But there's an understanding between us. I'm Eloise, by the way. And, go ahead.
I am Volric the Grey. I'll let my friends speak for themselves.
I'm Shifty Capone.
And intros go around and everyone nods, and you see the elf kind of pick up on this, and he looks around and he says, Oceanus, and puts a hand to his chest. Oceanus. And Rin, you do hear him say, in Elvish, I am Oceanus. Yes, thank you for rescuing us. And thank you for the water. Especially to you, and gestures to Sethreth as Sethreth is just kind of glowering in the corner, this big half-orc. Yeah, is there anything else you want to do? Otherwise, they kind of gather their things. You see them start to pull items out of that chest. You see her pull the chainmail out and start to adorn it. She grabs that holy symbol, which you do recognize, Aspen, is a holy symbol of Torm that she places over her neck. And Oceanus takes that sharkskin armor and starts to dress himself and grab his weapons. He looks very a little distraught as he looks down at the mangled crossbow that was in there and just kind of begrudgingly slings what's left of it over his shoulder.
What was her name again?
Eloise.
Eloise.
Yes, and Oceanus.
If either of them need help putting their armor on, I'll help them.
Yeah.
Give them respect.
Yeah. They accept it.
With Eloise, does she appear to be like a cleric of Torm or a paladin or something?
Uh,
Could I discern that?
yeah. It's tricky. I mean, without it making any rolls, I mean, she's definitely a
I,
follower of Torm.
mm,
Whether she's has any divine connection and can control those powers, I'm not sure how you would be able to pick up on that, right? Just from like glancing at it, because there are warriors that, deck themselves out in Torm, but they have no divine powers. So yeah,
gotcha.
a little hard to tell. But yeah, she's definitely a follower of Torm.
Okay.
I thought she might be with the gauntlets or something.
Yeah.
Well, I how long have you been captives, if you don't mind me asking?
Eloise, like, just finishing putting on her armor as Volric is kind of helping getting it on. She looks up. Uh, I, I can't speak for him. Myself, I'm really not sure. The passage of time has been almost impossible to keep track of. I've been drifting in and out of sleep here and there, but no real sign of daylight down in here.
Well, based on the fact she said she and her brother were both taken, and based on the state of the body, can we kind of guesstimate?
Yeah. So the body washed up a 10-day ago. So at least that. Yeah.
It's moderately fresh.
Yeah, I mean 10 days, right? So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I say, well, Shifty, it may be best to let them gather themselves before we start asking too many questions.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I hope there's not more than that we need to look for.
She finishes getting everything on, kind of straightens up and looks towards you all. Honestly, I would like to help any way I can. It feels good to be moving. Is there anything? I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, then.
Well, welcome.
Where are you
Go
from?
ahead, Volric.
Volric?
Where are you from?
We came from Tribor. My brother and I, we set out to, make a name for ourselves. And, we were coming down the coastway. Decided to stop by Saltmarsh. It seemed like good opportunity, and well, we heard a story of a potential treasure within the abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. So we decided to go looking for it, and ended up in that bloody mansion, and were apprehended by this lot. She gestures towards the ship.
Who did you hear that rumor from? Was it in the taverns? On the streets?
It was... I know. Just give me a moment.
I know you've been through a lot.
It's...
I understand.
There's a lot going through my head. Let me see. Ah, here we go. Okay. She kind of looks down. I'm a little ashamed to admit this, but it was a cloaked figure. I couldn't see their face. They... I feel so foolish for following the whim of some cloaked figure giving us information, and we were so quick to act on it. I do believe it was a man. I could hear it in the tone of the voice. It was a masculine figure, and he seemed to tell jokes rather frequently, and kind of had a bit of a. He would seem to clear his throat often, almost nervously, after telling jokes. That's about all I can remember.
Nothing rings a bell, right, Nathan?
For you, not really. No.
Yeah.
No.
I'll turn to Aspen and Shifty. Sound familiar?
Both.
Yeah.
When did you roll?
Sorry.
Yeah. Both of you make. I want to say insight check. This is kind of like a retroactive insight, like you're trying to pick up on, these mannerisms of this person and see if you can pick up on something. Okay. I'm gonna whisper this to you, Space.
Okay.
So
on what?
on roll 20. I will whisper.
I
it
thought
to
you
you on
were,
roll
I
20.
thought you were gonna
Okay.
say, "Hey, Space."
Yeah, I need everyone to plug
It's
their
like
ears.
uncovered ears. No one on stream. Spoil.
Yeah. So I'll whisper it to you in a moment, Space. So give me a minute while I kind of finish this
All
scene
right.
out. So she says that, and yeah, she just finishes with. I really do feel ashamed. I feel as though. I feel we've been had. We were led here.
Happens to the best of us, lady.
Welcome to the big world, I suppose. Tribor is just a small place, kind of like this. But over here is not so central like Tribor. So don't feel bad. You live, you learn, and you live. I mean, sometimes, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna go get busy. I'm gonna be your captain from now on, and if you want to join the crew, I would love to have you. I kind of like awkwardly kind of step out after I mentioned like casually that some people don't make it.
Okay, yeah. So you awkwardly step out of the room. She kind of follows your gaze, and then.
And I turn back to her and I say, "Interim captain, this isn't officially ours yet."
Oh, okay. Well, yes, let me think on it. I wouldn't mind having something to keep me busy. Thank you. If there's nothing else, I'm going to. I'll go up on the deck of the ship at the very least, get some air. And at this point, Oceanus has finished putting his armor on. Go ahead, Aspen.
I was gonna offer to take her to see where her brother was buried, if he was buried in Saltmarsh, if they buried him.
Yeah, absolutely. So you say that. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I would love that. So she agrees to that.
You should go rest.
I'm gonna if it's all right, if y'all don't mind just role playing for a second, I want to message Space. So just I'm gonna be distracted for a minute. So go ahead, Aspen.
Boric, I guess you proved yourself enough for the time being. You know when wrong is wrong and right is right. How long have you been doing this again?
Define this, lady.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Can you say that one more time?
Define the word "this."
How long have you been adventuring? You seem to have a very commanding presence about you.
Wow. I've been active since I was a fairly young man, so going on 35 years or so. But spent about a decade enslaved myself. Another 20 or so at sea, various roles from captain to shipmate to mercenary to part of a war band, and more recently an adventurer. I would say about it's going about 3 years now.
That's interesting. It's been a long, very long day. Should we? I don't know how to run the ship. I'll leave this to Shifty. I'm going to. Can I go find like some kind of alcoholic beverage? Was there anything in the captain's office like alcoholic?
Yeah. So you go up to the captain's quarters as everybody else is, gathered here, kind of doing their own things. Yeah, you go to the captain's quarters and you open one of the drawers, and there is a bottle within there. It looks to be a bottle of rum.
Great,
Yo,
my
ho,
least
ho.
favorite. I take it and I come back out, and I'm just like, anybody want any?
You immediately, Eloise comes up to you. Yes, please, and comes over and joins you in drinking. At this point, as everybody else is downstairs, Oceanus turns to you, Rin, as he finishes putting on the last bit of his armor. I don't mean to presume, but do you understand me?
Yes.
Oh, hello. It's so wonderful to be able to speak with someone. I've been doing my best, just telling her, but had to all be nonverbal, and
I can't imagine what you've been through.
yes, it's been terrible. What is your name?
Rin. Bert.
Oh, wow. We don't interact with the flying things much where I'm from. We sometimes see them when we go to the surface, but may I? And he kind of slowly reaches his hand out towards Bert.
And he just kind of offers his head.
The feathers poof out. And just gently starts to scritch behind the back of the head, and Bert starts to kind of lean into it. Oh, are they all this friendly?
Well, that one has a mouth on it.
Yeah.
But...
And he turns to look at the parrot, this like scruffy parrot that's sitting behind you, that's just going on. Buttface! Buttface! And yeah, he kind of turns and looks and he says, yes, I've been hearing that. I wasn't sure if it was I'm quite surprised to see the voice coming from that. Is that common for them to speak?
Yes and no.
I see. Well, this is interesting, quite fascinating. Who are all of you? He gestures to everybody.
Assuming for those that are still nearby,
Yeah.
Which I think is just Volric, and Ayize, maybe Sethrith. Just kind of I translate.
Okay.
I bow very respectfully. Say Volric.
Oceanus. Are you soldiers of some kind? And we can assume maybe that Rin's kind of
we can just assume that I'm
Yeah.
translating when I'm in the room.
Yeah. Okay. We're on a mission. We're soldiers of a sort. I guess you can call us mercenaries.
Yes. You work for an exchange of goods. Yes.
More or less, yes. Are you well enough to tell us how you got to be here?
Yes, I can. Well, I was asked by our leader, in a way, almost a way of proving myself. But we had noticed a ship going over our home very frequently for many months, and our leader asked that I get aboard this ship and see what they were doing. try not to make myself known and see what I can find out. We like to keep an eye on you land-dwelling folk, just to make sure that we can be informed, make sure that nothing nefarious is going on. Some of us of more keen of hearing could tell that this vessel was loaded heavily, so we were curious. Needless to say, I snuck aboard and well, I wasn't so sneaky. And now I've been in that damn hold for quite some time. I don't know where they were taking me, and I don't know how long I've been in there.
You and your companion Eloise, you're treated more than poorly, put in chains. Was there any explanation? Did the captain ever speak to you, or?
They did. I could not understand them. I don't know. When I boarded the ship, though, we were headed south. And my home, I have no idea where we are. I would like to go, very, very much like to go above, if I may.
Of course. I had mentioned to Eloise that the two of you have full access to the captain's cabin. It's the least we could do.
Oh, thank you. And he goes and scurries upstairs quickly, goes out onto the deck. Aspen, as you are starting to imbibe with Eloise, you see Oceanus step aboard the deck, and he just kind of staggers, almost in shock from the air hitting him, and he looks around and sees the water and the waves gently bobbing the boat and the shore off to the east, and a little bit of the moonlight glinting off the water. And he just takes a moment to breathe in the air. Aize, Volric, Rin. Well, actually, Aize, I'm curious, what are you doing when all this is going on?
Mostly observing, and we've found the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Volix seems to be taking care of interrogating them.
Okay.
I'll wander off and see if I can find a spot.
Yeah.
Watch Shifty.
Okay.
Who's running the ship?
Yeah. So Shifty, where do you go?
So yeah, I am going to go up. Actually, where are we at right now? Are we in the captain's quarters right now?
You were all still downstairs, in that chamber with the parrot, which is where the secret door was. And then Shifty, you said you left the room. So you were down in the cargo hold, and I don't know where you were headed.
Where is the previous captain?
He is currently on the deck of the ship. All the prisoners, we'll say that Sethrith actually went out to the deck of the ship, and he kind of gathered up all the prisoners and made sure they were situated, and they're all kind of tied around the mast, so they're just sitting on the deck of the ship, tied up.
Probably can't. I kind of look at Sethrith and I go, this could move much easier for us. And I look over at the captain. If we could have the proper papers to dock. And I look to the captain pointedly. It could be well worth your while. Right, Sethrith? I mean, definitely worth your while. Anyways,
Sethrith
I have a ship to run.
Sethrith just leans down and glowers down at the captain. Go ahead, Shifty.
We need to know where these papers are. I don't want in trouble with the Alliance, and I don't think you do either. Not that of course you're going to get out of trouble. We have some, and I look over at Sethrith. Well, you've kind of done some bad things. You see, you lied. I don't like liars. Do you like liars, Sethrith?
I can't do an Australian accent, everybody, so I'm not going to try. So he just goes, no.
No, mate.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Yeah, he just shakes his head. No, I don't much like liars.
Well, Mr. What was your name again? You were Snake Eyes, huh? What happens when a snake loses his eyes?
You've gotten everything out of me.
Where are the papers that you have
The-
showing you are the owner of this ship, or did you steal this one too?
He jerks his head towards the captain's quarters. I saw you all rooting around in there. I'm sure you can find them within my desk.
Very well. It's going to be the death of me. And I say, well, Sethreth, I don't think they're going anywhere. We need to start heading back to harbor. But actually, we're going to make a little detour, as you know, to drop off a few of our guests. Where did you get them from, anyways?
You asked the captain about the Lizardfolk?
Yes.
He looks up.
No, about the Oceanus and...
Oh. Well, so you
maybe
say...
he thinks I'm
yeah.
talking about the lizards, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he goes, they're our clients. What do you mean? You've seen...
Oh, you mean the ones that were in your back office, tied to the deck, chained to the deck? You mean those ones, the captives, the ones you said you don't trade in flesh for, the sea person?
Man.
Go ahead, Aise, what was that?
I thought Shifty said lizard men. That's probably confused the captain.
No, I'm not talking about any lizard men. I'm talking about two captives. They were not captives. They were guests of yours that you were dealing with. What I'm talking about are the two prisoners that you were keeping here. Where did you get them, and why did you take them?
There ain't
This is
nothing
not
wrong.
what we do.
There ain't nothing wrong with having prisoners on board a ship. You can't prove that we were going to be selling them as slaves.
Why were they prisoners? What were they doing against you? They looked pretty distraught to me.
They was meddling. Just like the lot of
Meddling?
you. Poking their noses where they weren't supposed to be.
Really? I take out my rapier and I poke his nose. Really? Poking noses? Is that what we're talking about? And I pierce his nose. I think you need a new nose ring. Now don't me mouthy to me.
You already tried this earlier. I'm not talking this way.
I am not trying to be mean to you, but what the hell did you do with those people? Why did you have them?
Well, we was gonna be making sure they weren't gonna be divulging what we was up to. But now you found everything here. They can be free. They can go about their business. Makes no matter.
And where'd you pick them up? I had to figure out where to drop them back.
One of them was found on the ship. The other was poking around over there, and he gestures towards the direction of the abandoned mansion.
They mentioned, I was in the room for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned that somebody told them that there was a reward over there. Was that one of you, Lot?
He kind of squints his brow and looks really confused.
Yes.
What do you mean?
That one and the one that we found diseased on the surf a 10 day ago. They were both told of something about some treasure, something that they could go with as an adventure if they go to the abandoned mansion.
I know nothing of it.
So are you the one who took them and killed that young one?
He tried
Why
killing...
would somebody send you?
He tried killing one of us first. We just defended ourselves.
Really?
Really.
No, you have no idea why somebody told them to go to you
No.
where you were.
I have no idea. I know nothing of whatever you speak of, some treasure. I don't know what you're talking about. It was just an
look at
abandoned
something.
house. It was supposedly haunted, so nobody went there. It was a perfect spot to set up.
I'll let the Alliance deal with you. You're no use, sir. And I go back, and this ship requires how many people to run? To steer?
Yes. So we discussed last time you can run it with 3 people. It won't go its maximum speed or anything, but you can run it. And you probably could run it with 1 person, but there's a high chance of like something going wrong. But
Well, 2 people, right? One steering, one doing the sails.
I mean, you could maybe do it with 1 person, running around, doing the sails, running back.
My little legs, my little 3-foot legs, 3-foot shelf would not be able to get across. But
yes,
okay,
but 3 people. You need 3 people to run it.
How far are we from shore?
Yes, so from shore, you're probably less than a mile. I don't know, half a mile or so. Yeah, you can see the shore for sure. And then from Saltmarsh, you're about like 5 miles out of town ish. It's not that far, so
From that point, we were supposed to drop them off. It's probably about half an hour away.
Oh, you mean for the Lizardfolk?
Yes.
The Lizardfolk, the place that they marked is about close to 10 miles south of Saltmarsh. So it would
half a day or something, 2 hours, 3 hours.
On a boat like this, it would take no time at all. If you can get it.
How's the wind? Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Is it nighttime still, or is it?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
It is. I would say it's actually approaching middle of the night, like 1 a.m. status.
Perfect.
Like the ship was coming here, around, we'll say like close to midnight, right? And then you've done all this, so it's about 1 a.m.
Perfect. I am going to tell Sethras. I was like, well, we need to get the ship up and go in so we can drop it. The guests they had, the business partners, off in their place before daybreak. Could you go get Volric? He has, I think, the capability, and I think he has some seaworth to be able to help me run this ship.
I'm only doing this because Volric said I should listen to you. And that he agreed that you'd be captain or something like that. I don't know. Still don't trust you little child. And he goes walking down the stairs. So he goes downstairs as you all are finishing up with Oceanus. Sethreth pulls you upstairs. Rin, did you want to do one more thing?
Oh no, finish your...
No, that's it. Sethreth just comes and basically says, "The child wants to speak with you," and gestures upstairs.
I'll continue to another scene because I want Rin to talk to Oceanus later.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure, let's resolve this first. So
I'm
you
just
all
writing my thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to the steering.
Got it. So you all go upstairs, and Volric, Sethreth, brings you, or says that Shifty wants to talk to you. I'm assuming you head over there. So Volric and Volric, you walk up and see that Shifty is getting up on the helm, checking it out.
I imagine him hanging from the wheel, and it's just kind of like with the ocean, just kind of.
I have definitely moved a crate up so I could easily maneuver it.
So you walk up.
Maybe
Shifty's
2 crates.
Yes, Shifty's pushing some crates into position as you walk up.
Okay. All right. I say, looks like Eloise is going to stay with us in the short term. We'll drop off the Lizardfolk. The sea elf is named Oceanus. Likely want to jump overboard when he feels better, but I guess we'll find out.
Well, I think we should set off right away so that we can be back by daybreak, but drop these snake folk off in the middle of the night, in the darkness, before anybody knows any difference, so that when we come back, they'll see that we are arriving. And yes, we're arriving at the daybreak, nice and smooth, with some fanfare perhaps. But speaking of which, you had some papers from the desk.
I returned them to the desk. They're free for you to read, sir.
Okay. I will be right back.
Okay.
Could you man the wheel while we do this? And just do you know anything about... have you been on a boat before?
Couple
Sir
times.
Bullock? Do you know about rigging?
Those things?
Ropes, riggins, yes.
Yeah. I'll figure it out.
Awesome. I know you are going to be the amazing, the best first mate, and even quartermaster. You've got it in you. I know you do.
One has aspirations, you know.
As you should. As you should. I think
You
we're
are-
going to be great partners. In fact, if you want, I'll even let you drive drive Sea Glider back. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Yes, Sea Glider, of course, is my boat. Named because it glides quite smoothly. Just you do know how to how to maneuver a boat, correct? She's my baby.
Yeah, you're actually quite capable with that. How many times have you captained a boat of any size with any crew?
Well, I have had that before. Yes, I've mostly worked in small groups, not a large group. I haven't been able to get to that point. Just
So
due
this would
to
be your first real ship.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. No, I've had a ship before.
This big?
A few meters of difference, but close. It's just you know that Navy captain who doesn't like me very much and who always thinks the worst of me.
Well, from what I glean, you don't have the best reputation, but that's all right. Who cares, right?
I don't have the best reputation because people don't understand me. They judge a book by its cover and not by its contents. It's not my fault my name is Shifty.
Have you smuggled goods here in Saltmarsh?
Who hasn't?
More than once?
No, really, who hasn't? See, you have come here as a stranger. That's what was so frustrating for us before. Me and Aspen, you were placing judgment on us as criminals. But really, our livelihood depends on sometimes going through the back door or smuggling, as you call it, because, well, the Lord Alliance has kind of cut our legs from underneath us. They're trying to take our only livelihood, which was actually being able to bring the goods in that were legit. Now we're not able to so much. You see, they're forcing us into destitution. Which is why you saw me so frustrated with him and why this ship here, Sea Ghost, this one is the one that could really make a difference, not just for me, but for Saltmarsh.
Elaborate.
So, right now all we have at Saltmarsh really are a lot of smaller boats, like the cutter I have, like Sea Glider. We have a lot of those because really we just need to get through the marshes, and that's what we've had to adapt to. We've had to change. Of course, there is some people in Saltmarsh that have bigger boats, but they're kind of a monopoly. You don't really go against somebody who's already got an established market, so to speak, whatever they're doing. But so the smaller boats, yes.
Have you heard of the chase?
I don't know. Have I heard of the chase,
Cut
Mr.
to it.
DM?
Oh, God.
You can be so rude. What I was saying is, looks can be deceiving and so can names.
You got a big
Don't
boat.
judge.
How are you going to change Saltmarsh, my friend?
Oh, that. How are we going to change
Yes.
Saltmarsh?
That was the question.
With that, we can actually do mercantilism. We can actually do commerce. That isn't just small pieces here and there. We can actually make a difference. That is why it's important. With a ship like this, we can actually do something that's going to make us enough money to be able to fund our defense.
So you have
see-
aspirations of becoming a merchant now, a legitimate one.
I
And
have
again-
been one. I have been a legitimate merchant. Why do you think they told me to come? Because I'm the one who can get a boat anywhere. But also because I get the job done. I have been a merchant. Like I said, we have been forced to go under the table instead of over the table. If this will give us the opportunity to finally be back on the even ground with the alliance and
Okay. All right.
I forgot the name of the city.
All right. So, Aize, Ren, Space, Aspen,
Turns
Seth
back
Reth.
into the
If in fact we do gain ownership of this boat, which yes, you can wear the captain's cap if you like. It's all of ours, and we'd have to decide if we're in the merchant business or not, or if you want to sell your share of it. But
If we're in the what business?
well, so if you're listening to our
Oh,
friend
no.
here-
I heard him starting to babble and I just wandered off.
We are all going to be part of this ship. A ship cannot. A captain does not have a ship without a crew.
Please, cease. Wait until I leave and then you can talk. All right?
That one is. I like him, but he's very strange. He
I
gets
told you
things
to
done
wait
too.
till I leave. I leave.
well,
But
Aspen,
we all.
you work at the Empty Net, correct?
Yes.
Perhaps we can talk more about it there. I'd much rather hear this soliloquy of yours while I'm
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The atmosphere there is a very
Not
pristine
conducive.
one, and shifty kind of brings the patron morale down. So
What?
I'm sorry. Look, they told me not to tell you, but
Aspen.
I'm sorry. They just say sometimes you just go on, and I can't look at his face.
She told me she liked the sound of my voice.
Who told you?
His mom.
Oh, I did say that shit. Oh, I mean, I do. You are.
We'll talk about that later, Aspen.
All right. Anybody rum? Anyone?
Yes,
Anyone?
please.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
take one and take a big old
promise
swig.
to drown you out.
I need to
to
sleep.
The deck as far away from Shifty as humanly possible.
Isaias, okay.
If I have to go to the crow's nest to get away from him, that's where I'll be. I
His
just
voice
do not
carries.
want to hear the sound of his voice.
So,
Okay, archive, hum to me.
Oh yes, I'm
Oh, I might.
Sea noise.
so as a note, because this
Yeah.
relates to Isaiah, you should, whenever you want to resolve the Ren Oceanus conversation,
We'll do that next. Yes.
I would like to climb up to the crow's nest, I guess, probably hang outside of it, unless there's room for me to get in and chat with Aize later.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure, I'll move over.
Yeah. There's enough room for 2 people to be up there
Yep.
easily.
I'm
Okay.
sort of sitting in it with my legs dangling out. And
Gotcha.
archive kind of cradled in my hands, and I'm with my quill, and I'm making notes.
Amazing. So as you're sitting up there doing that, Volric, you start to climb up the rigging to get up there. But Rin, what are you doing with Oceanus? He's currently out on the deck. He's over by the railing and just kind of has his eyes closed and is letting the wind just blow through his hair, which is starting to kind of like, furl back. He has very almost like shoulder length green hair that just cascades down.
Just because I thought we were all going to go to the captain quarters, mostly with Aspen and Eloise, but
Yeah.
still going to talk to him first.
Okay.
Just tries to kind of not sneak up on him, but you could hear the steps
Yeah.
to approach him.
He turns and sees you and Rin, hello.
Hi. I understand if you want to be alone right now, but I just want to let you know I don't want you to feel silenced, especially after everything that's happened. So I'll try to be around for you so you can have a voice.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I will definitely take you up on that offer when I wish to speak with others. What are you all doing next?
I'm gonna ask Aspen if she can grab the wheel and keep it pointed in that direction. I point
Sure.
to the kind of a crowd line. Say, keep it pointed in that direction. I hand her a compass.
Okay.
It should be going southeast.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say, I'll be right back. I have to go get something that was left in the office.
Right. So yeah, you go get the paperwork. That's fine. You're able to do that. So we're unless you want to, Shifty, did you want to come in and into this conversation with Rin and Oceanus? Because otherwise, I'm going to cut back to them as they're standing there.
No,
at the
not
side.
at all. I'm going to be minding my own, and
Got it.
And if they look at me, I'm just like, official business.
Okay, all right. So Rin and Oceanus.
We're having the serious moment.
Rin and Oceanus are over at the railing, and yeah, he asks you, Rin, what is it that you all are doing next?
Well, there's, as you could imagine, the men that captured you and Eloise. They're not, how should I say, not doing quite desirable actions. But it looks like they were trading weapons with these Lizardfolk. I'm not sure if you've heard or seen them before.
Oh.
This pertains to you, actually. Talks of a sea monster that they're dealing with.
Oh, what is this monster?
I'm gonna ask the name because I don't remember.
Sahuagin. That's how I pronounce it. I don't know if.
All right, Sahuagin. Except
Sahuagin.
more confidently.
yeah. You watch as Oceanus, his face drops. Oh, I see. Unfortunately, we do know of these creatures. I've heard many stories. There are many stories at my home that have been told when growing up of the Sahuagin. Well, that's not good. May I join you? I would like to learn more before returning home. I would be a bit ashamed to return home only to say that I got caught and then was let out.
Well, you've lived thus far. That in itself is a feat.
I don't know if others will see it that way, but thank you. And every time they look at you and kind of look up, their eyes are the kind of striking part because they're really large, almost alien-like, these fish-like eyes with the aqua irises that almost seem to be kind of like gently pulsing with like a bioluminescence within. But he looks at you. All right, well, and he kind of looks over and kind of looks a little confused. You see he's looking over at Shifty, who's going into the captain's cabin, and then looks up at Volric, and he goes, I couldn't tell, but it seems like one of those two are in charge.
The bigger one does, let's say I have more experience with him doing the talking.
That one was talking quite a lot and points towards Shifty in the captain's cabin.
He's a new fellow to me. He's and she really thinks about choosing her words carefully. Well, I can say that at least along with him and the rest of us, we're going to do something about that monster. So
good. I would very much like to join if you can tell everyone, and if
there
that's...
shouldn't be any reservations on the other's part, of course.
Thank you. Rin, is there anything else you want to ask Oceanus?
I could leave him alone at that point.
Okay. Yes, Aspen?
I wanted to talk to the captain, but I wanted to wait until everyone was resting.
Got it. We'll do that. I think we'll do that last. So we're going to first do Volric and Aize. Then we'll do that. And if anybody has any last things, we can do that. But otherwise, we'll kind of move on to the next phase of our journey here. So before we cut to you, Aspen, Volric, you're climbing up the rigging and pull yourself up onto the crow's nest. Yep. You see Aize dangling his feet there with the book out. Aize, you hear Volric pull himself up.
Oh, hello, Volric.
I pull out a flask and I say, more rum?
Oh, yes. 16 men on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. pray to the devil and send the rest with a ho-ho and a bottle of rum.
Yeah, nice voice.
Thank you. Granted, only the seagulls and archive can hear me up here, but I do like to sing in the crow's nest on occasion.
Yeah, so I notice now you're talking to your book and it's talking back. This is new.
Don't pretend, don't speak like archive is not here. Look.
Yes, I'm right here. You can address me.
Well, nice to meet you. My name's Turner.
That's. I hear a joke coming. I hear a joke coming.
Page Turner. And I reach out and I just turn the page once and
Excuse me. That was a terrible joke, and please ask for permission before touching me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well,
Oh, record that joke though for posterity.
Oh.
Entry to someone.
Oh, must I? Must I taint my pages with these drivel? Okay, fine.
And starts to write it out.
Put it in the corn section.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, not you! It's infectious! Oh, dear!
so Aiza, I wanted to check in with you before we got to shore. It looks like we'll be dropping off this Lizardfolk. Very good
Yes,
chance
that
we'll
is
come
the
back to
plan.
them. You're still in line with helping them if the price is right and it makes sense.
Price or whatever. I mean, we still need to negotiate. We'll have to talk to their queen.
And then looks like Eloise will be joining us for the short term, and not so sure about Avatar over there, but he's been talking to Rin.
Avatar.
Sorry, got to break the fourth wall once in a while.
Is Eloise, as I suspect, a priestess?
Could always use a cleric.
I did not ask, but I assumed with the blunt weapons and the armor that she was some manner of cleric.
So I suppose the next question, though, I'd like to be on the same page with you, so to speak, and I look over at the book and I kind of smile, and I say,
I groan for my book.
when you get back to speak to the council, they may have, well, probably would wish us to follow up on this, head up to Neverwinter or something similar. Where are you with all that? I would say priorities is Sahuagin. We let them know. Similar to what we talked about earlier, we said we'll let them know we know about the Sahuagin and see what they know, but won't divulge our sources.
Yes.
Am I right?
I believe that it would be rude to leave the lizard men waiting in the marsh for us to show up if we go trekking off to Neverwinter, because there's no telling how long that would take, whereas the threat to their village sounds immediate and somewhat desperate. On top of which, I've always wanted to speak to a Lizardfolk queen. Be exciting. Interesting.
Plenty of opportunities to learn things, I'm sure. All right, and then
we might get dragged into something in Saltmarsh itself, but for me anyway, if you're asking, I would most certainly like to get paid, dispense with that business, see if we can keep the ship without getting weighed down with litigation, lock Shifty in a small box so he doesn't talk to anyone until we get the ship secured, and then once we do or don't, let him out, and then go pick up the lizard men and go to the swamp and talk to their queen.
all right, so yeah, there'll be a bit of a conversation as to acquiring this boat. I have no idea what the council will say, but
I would say approach it this way. We captured the ship. Can we keep it? Yes or no?
well,
If they say no, all right, we're done, and then leave. And then we're just a matter of commissioning another ship so that we can pick up the lizard men.
there's a lot of flexibility in having your own boat, though. We'll work on
I
that.
disagree. You know, and if we have the resources to supply the vessel, then certainly, I completely agree with that. But You know, we're not the ones having our village raided regularly by sea devils.
Yeah, and that can definitely bleed over into Saltmarsh. It's not the first time bad things in the area have affected so
Since
negatively.
when have we getting soft? Oh, we need ships and sheets and whatnot. We slept in swamps and hammocks and we were wandering around in dugouts, you know, regularly being stung by insects and chased by giant scaly creatures determined to eat our faces.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Not to mention those enormous crocodiles.
those damn crocodiles.
Never knew they were so big. I never would have guessed by looking at them.
Just when we're finishing off some boss monster, then the crocodiles would show up and finish us.
Yeah.
I'm still sweating and wake up dreaming with nightmares about hiding in a tree. Thank goodness those giant crocodiles can't climb.
It does feel good to throw our friend and former DM under the bus every once in a while, though.
Yes, it does.
Anyway,
so
sorry.
as you both
we're done.
finish up that conversation, we will cut down to Aspen with the captain on the deck of the ship tied up. What would you like to do, Aspen?
I just walk up to him. What's his name?
Salazar.
And I just make myself comfortable right next to him.
Okay.
And I look him in the eyes and I give him a smile.
What can I help you with?
I think we need to have a conversation.
It would be a bit more easy if I was not tied up.
That's how I like you, tied up.
Oh. Well, that's nice.
Listen, I'm gonna whisper a name to you.
Oh.
I'm not gonna. DM. I'm looking at you, but I'm not gonna say it. But I'm gonna whisper a name to him.
Okay.
And I want to gauge his reaction.
Okay. So you lean in to whisper the name. As you are doing this, he goes, "I'm looking forward to this," and just kind of gets a little too close to you as you whisper. You whisper the name. Go ahead and make an insight check with advantage as you lean back to gauge his reaction. 15.
Okay.
Let me go to our dice roller here. So I can see that.
15.
Okay. You lean back as you finish whispering the name, and he's just smiling back at you. There's no recognition in his face. Don't know who that is. But now I have a name.
Who said you were gonna live?
Well.
And what I want to do is I'm gonna pick him up.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna walk over to the edge.
Okay.
Of the railing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to throw him over.
Oh shit. Okay. You're just throwing him over the railing. Okay.
Yeah, he's tied up good, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swim.
Go ahead and make a strength check with advantage.
Cool.
As you just pick him up and chuck him over. This isn't like he's obviously struggling.
7.
Here. Actually, what I'm gonna do, this would be a contested roll because he's trying not to get thrown over. So I'm gonna have him do a strength check at disadvantage. Let's see if he can break out of this.
Oh, he rolls a 1.
Are we all asleep and it's her watch or something?
No. So, okay, this is happening very fast. This is happening very fast. So, hold on. Let's resolve this. Oh, he got a 7 too. So he beats it, I guess. So he is, you are struggling with him. So you all see Aspen lift up the captain, drag him over to the railing, and start to go to throw him overboard. But he is kind of doing the, like, toddler dead body weight to just try to, like, not get lugged over, and you're struggling with it. So Aize and Volric, you're up on the crow's nest, and you see this struggle happening. Rin, you're with Oceanus, just finishing up your conversation, and this is happening just to the right of you. And Shifty, you're in the cabin, and you hear a commotion behind you. I would say that Rin is the closest. If you have something you want to do to react.
Okay, so Rin just is like, not again, and then tries to like go, like when I'm assuming he's still like on after that struggle is just like now on the floor again.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of like pressed against the railing, like pulling away from Aspen as Aspen's trying to pull him over. So they're both standing.
Okay, so Rin's just gonna walk over and not touch anything. It's just like, Aspen.
So you say that.
Just like even tone.
Okay, so you say that. I will let Volric and Aigize react. You see Aspen go in and say this. Do either of you do anything?
Volric, I can feather fall you down there if you want to jump.
I've got it. And I will step off and feather fall myself because I'll have the spell.
Okay.
And
so,
as I go down,
Oh, you have the spell?
Yeah, I have it also.
Okay.
You never know though. I mean, one of us could be incapacitated and the other one might need it. So, as I'm feather falling down, I know things are moving fast.
Yeah.
I probably won't hit the deck yet, but I'll say, Aspen, you're throwing away about 400 gold pieces there. Is there a reason for this?
Okay, as you go drifting down, boom, boom, land on the deck. Shifty, I'll let you do one reaction here. As you hear this commotion, you look over your shoulder. You can see through the captain's door. This is happening.
You're muted, buddy.
I will see that, and I will be a bit shocked, and I go, Aspen, he could be worth something. What's going on?
Okay, so you shout that out through the captain's door. And now we're back to Aspen. So Aspen, what are you doing? Everybody's starting to. Yeah.
I immediately summon my battle axe.
Yep.
And I'm gonna cast inflict wounds on it, and I'm gonna strike him.
Oh shit. Okay, so are you casting inflict wounds on him, or are you?
No, it's a melee. It's an attack roll. So I don't know
So you're
if I do
flavoring
on a
it.
blade.
Yeah, you're flavoring.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. No, I love this. Okay, so go ahead, make your spell attack with this. He is restrained because he's tied up. So you have advantage on this attack.
I'm clicking it, and nothing is happening.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Hold on.
It's okay, we can edit
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah.
If this is live, it'd be really embarrassing.
Oh, you know why? I'm so like
okay.
I haven't used Real 20 before. I'm gonna do this using my last second level.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
22.
That definitely hits. What's the damage?
23 points of necrotic damage.
Oh my god.
So, the axe appears before any of you can do anything, and Aspen, what does it look like as you kill him easily?
Yeah, as soon as I hear everyone surrounding me, I immediately summon my battle axe, and it's like, yeah, smooth, clean, chop his head off.
Okay, just with the quickest motion before he can say anything, his eyes go wide. He goes to say something, and the head's lopped off. The body slumps to the deck.
Well, like I said, I hope there's a reason for that. You just threw away
I
a
didn't
bunch
like
of
the
money.
way he spoke to me, Volric.
Can I do an insight check?
Yes, make an insight check. You make a deception check, Aspen.
Can I guidance myself?
I don't. If you do, it'll be obvious that you're.
If you want, I'll give you.
casting.
I'll give you
No,
bardic
no,
inspiration.
Okay, so you get a 14. So Ulrich, you got to beat a 14 with your insight.
Coming in. Insight. Go. Oh, I got that.
22. Okay. So Aspen, this is kind of up to you. You can say out loud to Volric, or if you want to keep it secret, you can whisper to Volric in chat. But I mean, I guess base level. What does Volric notice? Like, are you telling the truth?
In a sense, yes, I am telling the truth. I didn't like the way he spoke to me as he was leaning forward, saying how it would be easier for him if he was untied. Uh, on a it's something deeper. He definitely sees that I'm not being completely truthful.
Right. Yeah.
So it's sort of like a half lie.
Yeah. Do you think that Volric noticed? Was there any fear in this Aspen for you of what he could have done, what the captain could have done? Was there any fear there? Or no?
Yes.
There was.
Yes.
So maybe Volric, you also detect that. Is that fair, Aspen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'll just kind of raise an eyebrow. Fair enough. And I'll log that for a private conversation later.
Okay. What does everybody else do? There's now dead Captain Salazar laying on the deck, which you still will get 150 gold pieces. So.
Okay.
Thanks for the price check.
Nobody threw the body overboard. Then all the money's gone.
All right.
We could try to sew them back together and make them talk like a puppet or something. It might work. Then he just dies in their custody. I don't know. I only know if you have magic. Somebody know. I've heard people can do that. Could be an option. Worth 300 gold.
Maybe somebody here a puppeteer.
Rin seems very upset by everything and just kind of walks back to one of the rooms.
Okay.
You actually see my face. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Rin, you go back to one of the rooms. Shifty, your face.
I do.
Yeah, I was actually. Go ahead.
Are you say?
I'll send a telepathic message to Volric and to Rin saying, did she just murder a prisoner who was tied up and who had already surrendered himself?
Pretty much. But in her defense, he was a bit of an ass.
And in response,
I'm a bit worried now.
Rin is still walking away and hears that telepathic message, just kind of looks back, kind of gives a look like just, what the fuck? And then just kind of continues walking away.
Sethreth looks at you, Aspen, and goes, "Oh, I like you," and just gives you a big, toothy smile.
Well, thanks, Sethreth.
I will. It's so funny. Aiza and I have 2 spells in common because I will use the same cantrip, and I will message him, and I say, "There's a little more to this than meets the eye."
Oh, you think so? I'm using I'm actually using my feet telepathy, but that's fine.
Okay, so I'm using messaging. So yeah, we're invading each other's brains in different ways.
Yeah, I am.
Once.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Good. You're good, Chris. All right. So with that, as everybody clears the deck, Aspen, you're left there with the body. I don't know if you go and retreat into a room.
Oh no, I'll stand there.
Okay, so you're up on the deck.
Me now.
All of you, you have kind of gone through, all these different conversations, and you're now at the point where I'm assuming you're all gonna get going and start sailing back, correct?
Yes.
So we have. It sounds like Shifty, you're gonna go up on the helm. Volric, you're gonna be doing running around doing rigging. And then we just need one more person to kind of help with the rigging.
Sethreth is possible.
Sethreth. Okay, so Sethreth will do that. So he's moving around. No ability checks necessary for this because this is just travel. It's not combat. We will get into ship combat maybe at some point. We'll see. But you all start getting the ship going. So as the rest of you settle in, you watch as Volric and Sethreth move about the boat, getting the rigging into place, getting the sails set up. Shifty's up on the boxes, twirling
Shouting
the boat
like,
around.
This way.
Mm-hmm. Shouting orders as the other 2 are doing all the rigging. Shifty, I think you notice, immediately that Volric is, incredibly skilled. he has having no trouble with the rigging on the ship. Am I fair to say that, Volric?
Yeah, I don't hide it. I was being facetious, and he obviously didn't catch it.
Yeah. So you see Volric is a pro. And you do see Volric at times have to go over to Sethreth and help Sethreth with little things and like make sure that he's doing the knots right. But you all.
So, I'm going to then. At first I was like, worse, like shouting out orders, very comfortable. I look actually like I do belong on a deck, I believe, unless you want me to roll charisma.
No, it's fine.
I do look like I know what the heck I'm doing, and I take the role this role quite easily. But when and at first, of course, I'm saying, right there to the left, you gabons, let's go, you ship monkeys. And then finally, when I see that, Vork is doing the things that even before I even announce him or try to get them to do something, he's just doing it by himself without even me, like I kind of just like, oh, okay. And then I just say, from then on, I kind of adapt and just start saying to starboard, to this way, to that way.
Got it.
Just pretty much, I understand that he knows, but he's doing this not like I'm babysitting.
Got it. Yeah. So very easily, you all start to fall into a rhythm, and unfortunately, you don't have a full set of crew, so the ship can't go its full speed. But you are able to start sailing south. As you continue southward, and the time passes, it only takes you maybe like a couple hours to get to where the Lizardfolk marked on the map. As you are approaching, you can see up ahead in the darkness the vague shape of the coastline, and you start to get a scent in the air. Most of it's been this salty scent, and as you are approaching the Mere of Dead Men, that salt is mixed with a very like earthy kind of mud scent as you are approaching the where the marsh spills out into this estuary itself. As you approach Shifty, you would know that you're going to have to essentially not bring the ship fully in. You're going to have to anchor it and then send one of the smaller boats in. We don't have to go through all the...
I have my own boat's actually probably like I don't think anybody's actually driving it, so I think it's probably like coming behind. Yeah.
Well. So if you remember when you arrived, there was the ogre was lowering a smaller boat down. So we'll say that you basically swapped that boat out, hooked up the sea glider, and pulled it up onto the ship, and now it's resting on the deck of the ship. So you get the sea glider out and ready to go. The lizard folk come out, still a bit mistrustful, holding their weapons, holding the chest close to them as they're glancing around, and they kind of slither down onto the sea glider as a small crew, probably Shifty, I'm assuming you're leading this. You take the lizard folk to the coastline. And I
would actually probably like, if Aspen is around,
that's fine,
to have her or Sethreth join me.
Okay.
Because, just in case we are ambushed by Sahwagan or some other crap.
Of course.
I don't want to be seen as an easy snack.
Yeah, of course. So the three of you and the lizard folk all coast out to the coastline while the rest of you are on the deck of the ship. As you navigate towards the marsh, Shifty, you do have dark vision, so you are able to quickly spot 60 feet ahead, areas where there are sandbars and mud coming up through the muck, and you start to see big reeds and trees growing out of the water, and you pull into this swampy region. Now this is not, let's see, well, I guess Sethreth is there. Aspen and Shifty, this is not necessarily new to you, but for Sethreth, who's not here with us today, but for Sethreth, this is very different than the swamps he experienced back on the Isle of Dread. This is a very temperate swamp. The water is cold. There is a mist gathered on the surface of the water, and you pull up into the mud and let these lizard folk off where their drop-off point is. And it is under a very large tree that kind of stands out. It is like a big, large, dead tree, these big old roots going down into the mud, and it just has these gnarled branches, and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb amongst this little coastline here. The one green-scaled lizard folk, Ashawak, looks towards all three of you, and they say, "I'll wait here. The rest will go and report back to our home." And they kind of gesture and let out some draconic sounds to the others. And the other lizard folk kind of look over the two of you. Ashwak passes the chest to them, and they go slithering off into the swamp as Ashwak kind of posts up on the tree, squatting down in the mud. So you drop the lizard folk off.
We'll be back shortly.
I'll be waiting. And then we take you to our queen, Othogend. As you all head back to the ship and regroup on the deck of the Sea
I'll
Ghost.
be sure to pack some bug repellent.
You get on the deck of the Sea Ghost, and with all of this going on, as you get up onto the deck of the Sea Ghost, which yes, at this point, I have not described to the audience, as Shifty is riding the Sea Glider up, you can see that on the side of the ship it does in fact say Sea Ghost, which is the name of this vessel. As you pull yourself up onto the deck of the ship, you start to see a little bit of faint morning light appearing off to the east over the land, and you're starting to see this glint of light appearing. You all are heading back to Saltmarsh, is that correct?
When we were coming back on that road, actually, I don't.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking just Aspen if she was going to come with me, and she wasn't that one, Sethreth. But I would actually like to whisper to her, or just talk to her in a lower tone so people can't hear over the water.
Sure, yeah.
And I'll be like, "That was not like you. What's going on?"
I cast message because I have that. I said something that I shouldn't have said, and the captain looked like he was going to use the information against me, so he had to go.
Has this kind of thing happened since we've met?
No, I usually don't dispatch people. You know, I like to heal others and see them thriving. But this has something to do with what we came here to do.
I trust you. I repeat, I trust you. Also, I'll need your help. I have the papers for the ship. We shouldn't have an issue with your help and Madame Larissa's to have ownership. And it kind of I'd say really shortly, pretty much.
Yeah.
But in the message.
Yeah. And I'll reply. We're gonna see about getting you the ship. I mean, you really want it, and apparently it seems like someone owes us majorly for everything that we've had to deal with. So we'll see if we can negotiate something. Okay?
With the papers, from the laws that I know of, because I have to know some of them, with these papers, we should have a much better legal standing to claim ownership of them because we have them. And I say we because it's true. I cannot run this boat alone, and I'll be honest with you, Vorik, except for the possible slight chance of mutiny, is a great shipman. He knows what he's doing. So we need them to make sure that we do bring peace and prosperity back to Saltmarsh.
Yeah, I cannot object to that. Saltmarsh has been in the muck for too long. It's time that we build something for ourselves.
It is true, and we're coming back and
yeah. So at this point, you're just now about to like bump up against the side of the Sea Ghost. So you have a couple more things you can say here.
Yeah, I'll message him one last time. Mm-hmm. It's something. I don't know. Something is wrong, and I have to get to the bottom of it. If I find out anything, I'll let you know first. Okay?
I should respond mentally. You know, I've always got your back.
Okay.
And you know I got yours.
All right. And the sea glider bumps up against the side of the ship. You all pull it up into the boat and get settled in. And I'm assuming you all are heading to Saltmarsh next, unless there's something I'm missing.
Yep.
I'm
And
I'm going to ask Volric if he can take the helm
Okay.
while I go take care of something. Actually, I go to the washroom.
Okay. Oh, and
Myself, because I'm still actually I
Yeah,
should
5
still
o'clock
have
shadow.
be all like 5 o'clock shadow, and I'm going to like use a razor that I find there and actually shave myself, give myself
Got it.
a nice like to look very gentlemanly.
yes.
Um,
All right.
to make my position later on
Okay. So
to
Shifty,
actually be a reformed.
yeah, we see Shifty shaving and making himself more presentable in the washroom as Volric is at the helm. Sethreth is pulling on the rigging.
I say, aye, interim captain.
And you all start gliding northward once more, back towards Saltmarsh. As you approach Saltmarsh, you see that the sun is slowly rising over the town. You see that beautiful golden light starting to appear over the distant mountains, cascading over the town itself, and there is just this heavy mist hanging over the water in the town. You start to hear the sound of birds slowly waking up with this light approaching, distant gulls crying, and as the mist starts to burn off in part, up ahead you see Saltmarsh coming into view. Saltmarsh, as you approach, you just see this small, sleepy fishing village. It has numerous buildings that are kind of covered in layers of moss growing on the roofs. You can see many buildings that are built right up to the water, some that are hanging out over the water on pylons. There are multiple docks all going out, and as you are approaching, you see many ships, small ships like about the size of Shifty's, little fishing vessels that are all heading out for the day. Some of them pass you, Shifty, as you step out onto the deck, clean shaven, with the morning light starting to come over you. And Aspen and Shifty, you notice some fishing boats go by and recognize, some fellow folk from town. You see them, Shifty, as you're standing on the deck, you see one of the fishermen look up and like cock their head and squint as they go by, looking really confused as you're on this gigantic ship that's just coming into port. And all of you also see that as you are coming into town, kind of making your way around this small island, going into the main harbor, many of the docks were a bit small, but there are some larger docks appearing, and they look freshly built. And there are some large cargo vessels there that are starting to unload their cargo in this early morning light, and you can start to hear the distant shouts of workers echoing across the water. As you are coming into town, you see some smaller vessels approaching you, hailing you with the symbol of the Lord's Alliance, and you see there are Marines on the decks of these ships as they are approaching. Standing at the bow of one of these ships, there is a barrel-chested man with fiery red hair, and he has his leg up on the bow of the ship with a beautifully carved peg leg as he comes into view clearly. And you can see that on the peg leg itself, it is adorned with these intricate, almost like knot-like features, like Celtic knots that run down the peg leg. As these Marines approach, this barrel-chested man hails you, which you know Shifty as being Eleander Fireborn, and he looks up at you.
My gods! I never thought I'd see the day when Shifty Capone, the real Malone, had his own ship. Huh. I take it you were successful then.
Well, the times are changing, aren't they? Things are looking up.
You're gonna have to anchor out here. As you can see, the port is quite busy right now. We'll guide you in, if you don't mind.
Fair enough. We have some prisoners
Oh.
that you could use for some questioning. I think a gift for you.
Yes, I'll make sure the council is assembled and we'll discuss what to do with them. Well, everyone, let's get these folks into town.
And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who was this talking? I didn't hear his name.
Eleander?
Eleander
Elliot- okay.
Fireborn. He is the one of the council members, and he is the captain of the town guard. So, at this moment, we're gonna take a quick break because we're at 5:30 here, as Eleander starts gesturing to all of his sailors to guide you into port and get you all settled. But yeah, let's take a quick break. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We're just as a quick reminder, we're dressed to quest. I do want to open it up to the rest of our cast to see if there's anything y'all want to plug or talk about. I will quickly plug my show, my other show that I run on Monday nights. So tomorrow night at 7:30, I have a show called Story Reckless that I run with two really good friends of mine. And yeah, we have a lot of fun. If you enjoy this, it's kind of similar. Just a very small cast. There's only like
It's
two
great.
of us. Thank you.
You can't say it, but I will. It's great. Check it out.
So yeah, you can find us on Twitch, Story Reckless, and we're on Instagram and Twitter. Just search for Story Reckless and we should pop up. All right, thank you. Eric, do you have anything you want to talk about tonight?
No, I think just for those of you guys that might watch this on Twitch later, we also have a YouTube channel. We keep all these archived. Just look up Dress to Quest on YouTube, and you will find us. We have a Facebook group as well, also easy to find. But yeah, that's about it for now. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see you
Maybe
back
5.
here soon. All right, see you all soon. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Dress to Quest. If for some reason you're joining us in the middle of the show, but yeah, we're all back, and we're going to continue with the story here. I'm not going to do any recap because hopefully you've been watching. All right, so you all just pulled into port. Eleander, captain of the guard, gets you all situated and escorts you to shore. Yes, Shifty, there is a brief moment where Eleander does have some guards quickly search you. I'm assuming they don't find anything. And as you are on shore, you are led to the council building, which I need to find here. Oh wait, it's on the map.
They do see a tobacco pipe. Oh, here in my camera. They do see like a tobacco pipe with some like that's not mine. I don't know how that got there. It's like a little baggie of some salt weed.
Gotcha. So you go to where in the world is it? It's the council hall. There it is. Council hall. So you are led to the council hall. It is right off of the main dock. So you are led past all of these workers that are getting started with their day as they are loading up these ships with various goods and supplies. You can see off to the east, going further into town, out where those of you that are from here, you know where the mining operation or the mining operation, like they hired miners, but they are building a canal that leads through the marsh towards Leyland. And you can see in this early morning light as various carts are being loaded up, and you see miners getting into the carts and getting ready to head out beyond the wall, headed east to go work on the canal. You can also see there are various militia member with them that are there to escort these carts out into the wilds. You are led up to the council hall. The council hall, find it here. Here it is. You see a very large brick building that has, slate tiled roofs, and the roofs themselves, like just like everything here, there's just this thin layer of lichen growing on everything. Little accents of green and yellow on all the tiles of the roofs. And you can see on some of the trees around here, there's this long dangling moss that kind of clings to things hanging off the trees. And approaching, you hear the shouts of workers and things of that sort. You are led through two large double doors into a big council chamber. Galen has you get situated. There are multiple there are multiple benches, almost like a courthouse set up, and there's a big podium up top with a larger table where all the various council members sit. He looks over to all of you and says,
All right, get comfortable. I'm going to summon the rest of the councilors. They'll be here hopefully soon. I don't know about Galen, but get comfortable. And he goes off into the hall.
Is Larissa there, Madame Larissa?
No, this is like it's literally at this point it is 5:30 in the morning. So yes, it is. People do get started in Saltmarsh very early because it is a fishing town, but there are a lot of folks just starting their day.
Is there a way we can send message to her?
Do you have a way of sending a message to Larissa? Either of you?
I have perhaps means if anybody around there speaks Sieves Kent.
Got it.
I could write a little quick note or something like that if I see anybody.
There's nobody in the hall yet because it is first thing in the morning.
Like on the way there though, when we were like marched on the way there.
Okay. Okay, make a sleight of hand check for me.
Sleight of hand check. He's right. It's here. There we go.
Okay. 14. Okay. You were quickly able to slip a note to someone you recognize. A very young kid, a young girl that you've seen around, and she kind of acts as a messenger. She's starting to get into the smuggling business. And what's the note? What does it say?
Need you at council meeting.
Got it.
Now. And I put asp plus ask plus shift.
Got it. Okay.
And then
this
put
is
like 2 E's.
They'll never figure out who that is.
They'll never forget.
they'll never know. But this is written in Thieves' Cant, correct? So you use code to write this.
Pretty much, I have like a little code for my own name and everything. Yeah, like
Got it.
I'm guessing Aspen would be like a snake, whatever.
Sure.
Because snake.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah,
you write this little code out, slip it to this girl, and she takes off running. You all get settled in. It takes a little bit of time. A good like 5 minutes in, you hear a loud horn blare from the. There's like one tower on this council building. A loud horn blares from that tower, which you all, those of you from Saltmarsh, know it's a way of signaling that there's going to be like a town hall meeting, essentially. As you wait in this chamber, a good half hour goes by as there are folk that are currently not working that just trickle in to kind of see what's going on. So you start to see citizens pouring in. After about half an hour, like you see all the council chairs are filled up, except for one. You see Eleander sitting kind of in the middle. And yes, he is this very imposing barrel-chested figure with this fiery red hair, beard speckled with fiery red hair and beard, which is speckled with little bits of gray. And below the right knee, you see that beautifully carved peg leg. Sitting next to him is a dwarven woman. She wears black riding pants with big black riding boots and this elegant coat that's accented with purple and gold. Her amber hair kind of drapes down in front, and you can see she's just finishing this immaculate braid that she's created. And as she finishes it, she quickly goes up and she starts to groom her chin strap beard, which is just like beautifully like lush going down her chin. As she gets settled in, you see actually the first person to arrive was Ida Oland. Those of you who know her, she is a older, dark-skinned woman with close-cropped salt and pepper hair, and she has this burly frame with that looks to be from like a life of labor. Just burly frame, kind of sun-pocked skin. And she has this rugged dark brown and blue clothing on with big heavy boots. And finally, as you're all getting settled, you watch as a young man comes in named Anders Solmore, for those of you that know him. He's a very young-looking man, maybe in his like late 20s at most. And he has straight black hair with big dark eyes and sharp features, and as he comes in, he flashes everybody a toothy smile. You see him waving at various folk in the crowd. And he heads up to the table. He's got this like kind of lanky build that he holds with confidence as he sits down and seems to be looking around, listening intently. And as everybody's sitting there, you still see that one chair just empty. And there's kind of a bit of tension building in the air as everybody's waiting. And you see that
Galen's missing.
You see the council members like muttering to each other. You see Eleander roll his eyes, and yeah, it appears that Galen is not there. After a good,
I'm gonna lean into to Rin. I say, those with the most money take the most time to get to a place. You know what I mean?
Tell me about it.
As you kind of finish saying this, it's been about 15 minutes now, so you've been in here for about 45 minutes just waiting. You finally hear the front doors open up, and you watch a man come in and unfurl a cloak, and he has a foppish little hat that's kind of to the side, a little muffin top with a big old feather. He has beautiful clothing on that's like burgundy and gold, and he comes striding into the room and goes, hello everyone, I know I'm late, I'm terribly sorry. We had that big party the other night, and you know how it goes, my goodness. What is this all about? As he goes and he gets settled in, and Eleander looks over, Ida rolls her eyes and just like grabs him by the arm and just pulls him down onto the chair, and he kind of, Ida, please, not in front of guests. Shut it! And then she turns and looks at everybody. All right, Eleander, why'd you call us all here? I see our friends have returned, and I saw that big ugly ship pull in. What's this all about? And Eleander kind of calms the room down.
Oh, yes, our friends here, who we've hired to go and investigate what may be happening, and hopefully it's good news what you've found, and I see you've acquired a new ship, it seems. We'll have to discuss that. And Monastrad, the dwarven lady, is just kind of finished grooming her beard, and she's now picking at her nails, looks around the room. Yeah, I saw that big ugly thing come in here. Looks like a nice prize you got there, Shifty. Coming up in the world, are you?
His name's Seth. I lean in and say, his name is Sethreth. Speak with more respect.
She kind of crunches her eyebrows, and Sethreth looks at you, Volric, like aghast, is like, I ain't related to that child. What are you doing? And finally, Anders looks around. Well, this is quite exciting. I can't believe that you've brought in a new ship into the harbor. This will be very interesting to figure out. Please, tell us, what has happened? What is the news? And Eleander kind of calms the room once more. Yes, please. Inform us what you found.
Well, so indeed, we were able to flag the smuggler ship, got on board, neutralized indoor, captured them. Captain, likewise deceased. Here's the ship. We have more information, of course, but in the short explanation, we may also have a lead as to where the smuggler's warehouse is and who might be behind it.
You hear some murmurs in the room, and Anders leans forward. Did you find any clues as to whether Umberlee's tyrants are involved?
Nothing per se.
What about the weapons?
So I had a question for you, Nathan, which was not absolute clarity. Were there 0 weapons? Were there some weapons?
Yes, so we kind of, unfortunately, last episode, because we were like doing a lot at the end, and I forgot to mention, as you did your thorough investigation of the ship, you found one more hidden compartment. It was on the other side of the first one, and when you opened it, you found another stash of Lord's Alliance weapons stashed in there. And then, of course, there were the original batch of weapons that were found at the haunted mansion, the smuggler's hideout. But yeah, Anders leans forward and says, but do you know where these weapons are headed? Why were they amassing such a large force? And all the council members kind of lean forward, looking at you expectantly.
Well,
we are still investigating, really, which is, and I look over at Volric to kind of look at him and nod and see if I can get the approval to continue, or his approval to continue.
Okay, Volric.
I'll kind of, I say, well, the most important thing is where it's coming from, and there's no indication that's going to Umberlee's tyrants.
There isn't. Well, do you know where? And Eleander also goes, yes, did you discover where they were being delivered? Did you find documents, any sort of trail, a paper trail, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay. Well, would you like to inform everyone here where they were being delivered?
Well, I think we would need to be... We require a ship to further investigate this. It's further north we found the area. That doesn't give it the exact directions. Right, Volric?
Well, let me just be frank here. Nothing that we saw tells us it's the Umberlee pirates. We do have some information, but in a much smaller group, perhaps we can have a conversation.
You see the council members kind of lean in and have some hushed conversations, and you see as they all kind of settle in and look towards Ida, who's just been sitting there kind of staring at you all with cold eyes, just watching. Yeah, very well. Let's take him in back and have a private conversation in one of our offices. All right, folks, show's over. Everybody out. And she gestures with a quick head nod to all of you and just kind of waves as she turns and goes to a back door, and all the other council members start to follow.
I'm gonna use 5 rounds to message each one of the guys in my group.
Yeah, go for it.
Basically say we're gonna have to tell them a little bit about the Lizardfolk.
Okay.
And if anyone, I'll be receptive on the message if anyone wishes to respond contrarily.
I respond, let me handle negotiations. I have support and documentation coming.
Negotiations for what?
The ship.
Well, different conversation and no problem.
As you're starting to leave the room, you do see that Larissa is settling in just as Ida tells everybody to leave, and she kind of catches eyes with you, Shifty, and Aspen, kind of looking expectantly. And as you look, Larissa is this, she's a tiefling woman. I'll just give a brief description here as she settles in. You see, she's a very plump tiefling woman that sits down, well endowed, purple skin, stark white hair that is up in like a kind of updo. And she has these little stubby black horns above her eyebrows that kind of curl upwards. And she kind of raises an eyebrow and locks eyes with both you, Aspen, and Shifty, and kind of waits expectantly as you're being led out of the room. Do either of you do anything?
She
Yeah, I
sees
was
his
gonna
face.
shoot her. I want to shoot her a message.
Okay.
We need to talk about something. And that's all I say, and I'll let them lead me into the room.
She goes, of course, we will talk after you finish your meeting, I guess. Looks like you're going up into the big leagues, as you are led into the back. All right, so you are led into the back room and taken into what appears to be Ida's office. It's just like a simple, wooden floors. There's some wooden paneling in this room. There's some oil lamps set up. There's a small library off to one side, a big desk, and numerous chairs that she kind of has to pull out. She quickly flags down somebody in the hall and has them pull in some other chairs from a different office. You all settle in here as you all kind of gather, and she goes, all right, so what could you not tell us all in front of everybody else? Come on, just get to it.
What's her affiliation, real quick?
Ida? So Ida is, so for both Aspen and Shifty, you would know this. I'm sorry I didn't put this in your guide. There's a lot going on. For Ida, she is, been on the council forever. Around town that she has been in town forever. Her family has been locals forever. And yeah, she's the longest running council member. She's very well liked, especially in the fishing community, as her family runs the biggest fishing operation out of Saltmarsh. And she is known for being very supportive of that community. And if any folk in that community kind of fall on hard times, her family is always first there to support them and lend them a hand, and even let them live at their estate to get back on their feet. So that's Ida. But yeah, she looks around. All right, just cut to it.
Ida, I've always been straight for you.
That's right.
I have a question first, and you'd be straight with me. What do you know about the Sahuagin, particularly in the area, and particularly of late?
I don't know nothing about no Sahuagin. I know they're sea devils out in the seas, and there's a lot of stories surrounding them, but we've never had issues around here. Why?
I'll look across the group and I say, any of you? And if I have to, based on facial expressions, I'll do insight. Otherwise, I'll just wait for a response.
Yeah. No insight necessary. You look around, and they all look surprised as you're asking about this.
All right, then. Well, the answer, we were planning on not withholding this, but not adding that information, but it does make sense that you want to know. Lizardfolk down south. They wanted the weapons, but for a very good reason. Not only for themselves, of course, but probably for the rest of us. The
How do you,
Swagan have taken out a good section of their people, displaced them even. They were looking for a way to fight back.
how do you know this?
We saw some, spoke with them.
They told you. Huh. Are you sure they weren't lying just to get off the boat?
They were ready to die in combat, so no, I do believe them.
She kind of leans in, looks at you very closely. All right, Volric. I'm going to trust you on this, but if you're wrong, it's going to be some real bad consequences. And the Monastrad and Eleander kind of hold their hands out. Hold on here. Lizardfolk? Sahuagin? I mean, I agree with Ida initially. I know not all Lizardfolk are bad, but they could have just been telling you what you wanted to hear. This sounds like quite a story. And Monastrad goes, yeah, I don't know. This seems like it could have been easily concocted.
We have a wizard.
They all kind of look amongst themselves. Aize, what do you do?
Step forward.
You step forward, okay.
I'll kind of step back slightly so that he gets
Okay.
a little more attention.
Yep.
If at the very least you can accept my assurance that we, that is myself, Ulrich, and Rim, are very, very familiar with Lizardfolk. We have shared our culture with them extensively, many times. And, Sethreth has as well. As you can see, he's wearing boots made out of lizard men. But that being said, entire interaction with them, they were entirely honorable, entirely reasonable. And there is no reason to suspect them of lying about the situation with the Sahagin. It's not in their nature. They're pragmatic. They're not empathic, but they are pragmatic about their survival. The requirement of the weapons from the ship that the smuggler was giving to them, or the nature of the weapons, was simply a means of enhancing their defense against the sea devils.
You see. Go ahead, Aize. I didn't know you were done. Go ahead.
Even in Termish, far away on the Sea of Stars, we are familiar with the depredations of those vile creatures. And the threat will only grow with time. It will begin with the lizard men, and I am sure many of you are saying, we do not care about the lizard men, they are walking luggage. Oh, what do we worry? Until they are consumed by the Sahagin, and then they expand their sphere and spread to other parts of this coast. Even to here.
You see all the council members. They're listening intently, kind of nodding. You especially see Anders is kind of wide-eyed, like looking at you. They all kind of look amongst themselves.
So we have not agreed to anything as far as fighting them. We have agreed to hear them out. At which point I will promise you that I will use my arts to my full extent to determine the veracity of their claims. Should they be lying, then one of us will return to report this to you. I do not believe that is the case. Should they be telling the truth, then I believe it is in the interests of all surface dwellers to lend our strength to the lizard men, at least in the elimination of the Sahagin threat. That is all I have to say.
Eleander holds up a hand. I'm sorry, are you suggesting that we devote some of our resources towards these folk?
No, my friend. I mean we as in we.
All we require is this boat.
Eleander kind of stiffens up. Yeah, about that. Now, since you were not contracted to apprehend the boat and have it under your own possession, Ida immediately cuts in and goes, Eleander, shut it. You don't know nothing about these parts. They took it, fair and square, it's theirs.
Ida, with all due respect, we are a council here. We should put this to a vote. Now, that boat could be very beneficial to the Lord's Alliance. Now, I'm not saying you can't have it. The stipulation being, we would sign you on to the Lord's Alliance as official members, and we would provide you with the crew. You would have the boat for a full year and would not have to pay for any of the maintenance or the crew.
Go ahead, Aize.
Am I familiar with law in the
Yeah, make
I'm
a history check.
Great. Ooh, history, just ain't for me.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I sent a link into the chat, which is the law we're using.
Of course, 10.
A 10.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, not really. Like very vaguely, but yeah.
I
Also-
elbow.
I-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
My short response to that offer. 4 words. Where do we sign?
Oh, wonderful.
No,
I
no.
telepathically linked to
But then
Boris.
I
linked to
turn
Boris.
back though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I turn back and I say, I am speaking for myself.
Go ahead.
If I am not mistaken, in the taking of ships that are under a pirate flag, do not the privateers who take possession of it claim such ship as
Well-
salvage?
Well, not as salvage. In times of conflict, and if you were to be officially under the Lord's Alliance, you are merely sellswords that we've hired to do a job. That job did not entail commandeering the ship. We did ask you to neutralize these smugglers, but there was nothing in our original deal about you owning the ship. Now, if you are to be officially under the Lord's Alliance, then yes, you can own this ship. And with some stipulations, we would provide you with a crew, and the ship would be officially under the Lord's Alliance, but you would be the captains for it and manning it and running it.
If we
So
do
what-
not wish
so
to be
what-
under the Lord's Alliance.
I'm sorry?
All right, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What was that?
No, I'm talking to Shifty.
Oh, okay. Shifty?
I go. Excuse me, but you are forgetting one thing, which is who has the proper paperwork. And I elbow Aspen. Also, if it could, I would like Madame Larissa to be able to join us, as she would be also. I would like her to be part of this. And I look at Ida and I say, Ida, you've known me for a long time. You've known us for a long time. I went to Aspen. You know that we've done everything we can to in the benefits of Saltmarsh. And so won't you think this would be a benefit if one of our own could now be able to have a boat like this to bring more jobs to the town?
I do. Now, as Eleander pointed out, we are a council. So amongst us counselors, let's please put it to a vote.
We do have paperwork.
There you go. That makes us even more fair, Eleander. Now I say that they get the ship. They want it fair and square. They have the paperwork. They should be good to go. And Galen has kind of been not really paying attention and goes, "Oh, yes, I agree with Ida. That sounds wonderful." Monastrad kind of looks over and goes, "Well, you know my vote. I think this should we're trying to build a society here, and I think you should be under the Lord's Alliance. We're just trying to help y'all." And Anders finally looks around the room. Huh. Well, Shifty, why don't you make a persuasion check with advantage? As you have this paperwork, you've made your case.
I'm going to add as well, I'd also like to say that no ship can be run with a crew that does not know the captain. I look over to Vorik and Aspen. We would like to choose our own crew to make sure that there is never any problems so that we can get work done. And we'd like to hire locally.
Anders is looking over you all, looks over towards the council, who all look at him expectantly.
I lean over to Shifty and I put my hand on his shoulder and I whisper, "The less you say, the more they're gonna like you." And I give him bardic inspiration.
Okay. Okay, Shifty, I'll allow you if you want to add that, if you want to. It's up to you.
Actually, I have no idea what I rolled here.
Is it a D6?
Yeah, it's an extra D6.
D6.
Add a D6 to your highest roll.
Okay, D6 to my
22.
highest roll. Oh wow. Okay, so it's a 22. Okay, sure. Why
Oh,
not?
wow.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Add a D6 to that.
Very high roll.
They're gonna make you king.
Or at least new owner of the Sea Ghost.
Okay.
All right, 23.
23. Okay. Anders looks at all the council members looking at him expectantly, and he looks over at all of you.
I'm reformed.
My family's been in this town a long time. And I know, he looks over towards Eleander and Monastrad, I know you all are trying to bring new ways of life to us, and I know you're trying to help us. And you've done a lot. You have. I've seen the town grow and prosper. And he looks towards Galen and Ida. But damn it, this is a smuggler's town. And we respect the law of the sea. I vote that they keep the ship. You see Eleander and Monastrad kind of... All right, of course. Yes, of course. The ship is yours. We won't be providing you with any resources. You'll have to do all of that on your own, and you have the paperwork, so please get that signed and taken down the hall, and make sure you register the boat. It'll need a name. Congratulations.
I've got that. I look back towards Shifty, reminding him of the deal.
All right.
I nod back at him.
Very well. Well, I'm just curious, to be honest. What are you thinking? You don't
Friend
have
of
to
ours. No longer around. I'd like to name the ship the Diora.
All right. That means nothing to me, but good for you. Okay, I think we're done here. Payments.
Not exactly.
Yes.
We did bring back a captain, although some of him.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's do all the logistics now, and they all kind of settle in. Ida kind of sighs, like, yeah, all right, yeah, let's do this. So we don't have to go through all the role play of this, but you are paid 1,200 gold for completion of this mission. So I don't know who of you is going to be keeping track of party funds and stuff, but
Chris, maybe?
Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris.
Yeah, Chris is putting it in our Discord. Yeah.
Got it. So
Yeah,
1,000.
This is good.
Our records keeper.
1,200 gold for the completion of this mission. You get 150 gold for the body of Salazar. You get... what do you do with all of the supplies in the hold of the ship? Because Eleander does mention, as you know, everything is kind of, he had all the Marines go through and search the ship, and as you're having this meeting, somebody comes in with an inventory list of what was on the boat.
The silk and the
We'd like to sell it.
The silk and the wine is already accounted for in the Discord, as
Okay.
well as how much it's worth.
Right.
You just want to show how much
So
can we sell it.
Yeah. So the complication
absolutely.
here is that as the individual comes in, Eleander and Monastrad look over and say, "Oh, we see you. There was quite a cargo in there, quite a haul. That appears to be the property of 2 merchants in town. We can give you some funds for salvaging it, and we will be taking it. Unfortunately, it's not yours; it is theirs.
Yes, it'd only be right. It'd only be legal.
Good. So that'll, and then Ida just, come on, Eleander, it's 700 gold for the amount of wine that's listed there and the amount of silk bolts that are listed there. Please. Yes, all right. 700 gold. So you get 700 gold for all of that. And finally, what else was it? Was there anything else on the ship that you were trying to offload?
Well, we do. I mean, just
Chris.
Probably there might be some. Geez, the word is escaping me right now. There's some bounty on some of the crew, so we are also, of course, turning over the rest of the crew.
Okay, yeah. They will give you a small fee. Like, none of them are stand out on any bounty boards, but they are associated with Captain Salazar. So they'll give you an additional 50 gold for all the crew.
There's something I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. They're saying they're going to give us 700 gold for the
Yes.
silk and the wine. The wine was worth 390 and the silk was worth 2,500
Yes.
gold pieces.
Yes, I understand. They are not going to buy it wholesale from you. They are giving you a salvage fee. But yeah, if you if you want to try to go sell it somewhere else, probably, because the merchants who own it are here and they want their property back. So
Yeah, the only way to have done that would have been to offload that stuff before we arrived into port.
yeah.
So,
This is local. This is local stuff. We need to keep the money here.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I figured we shouldn't add it to our individual characters yet because it's raw goods. So it's
Yep.
1,200 plus 150 plus 50 plus 700.
Yeah. And was there anything else aboard the ship that you were offloading? I mean, the weapons is kind of part of that salvage.
How much did they give us for
deal.
shifty?
Did they find the weapons that was in the cache?
Well, actually, it's a good question. Did you hand over those weapons? I think somebody mentioned that you found weapons on the boat. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. We definitely give them the weapons.
Okay. The faces here.
I just want to keep that parrot.
I give you a telepathic message to Volric and I say, we could have given those weapons to the lizard men.
Where are the weapons? I respond.
Okay. What do you do with the parrot? Are you going to keep the parrot?
I want to keep the parrot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have...
We're gonna have a little fairy
It shouts
friend.
and it curses at the council members. Fuck you! I like you, and you.
So you get a scruffy parrot, Rin. You can name it whatever you want because you never got the name of the parrot because the owner who had the parrot was dead.
Yeah.
So
it's like all the negotiations. It's like I want the parrot. That's the only thing, Rin.
It's cursy.
Her negotiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you keep it away from Shifty, we'll be fine.
We'll be good friends.
All right. So I think
as we
go ahead.
as we leave, I'd like to walk up to it's Anders, correct? It's the son is Anders.
Yeah, Anders. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll walk up to him and I shake his hand and I say, big shoes to fill. You'll do just fine.
Thanks, Ulrich. I
I
didn't say anything, but I do kind of remember you. It's funny being a little taller than you, though. I remember you were so big.
Yeah, my hair was not so gray, and I didn't have this. But yeah.
Yeah, you didn't. Thank you, though. I know that she would.
Aside from being a good leader, your mother was a hell of a woman. I was honored to know her.
Thank you. She was. She really was.
And, you can come to me directly if you ever need anything. I would hope that as we're almost family, a bond from your mother, and if you need something, just come to me. That's outside of the Lord's Alliance.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind, and I do appreciate that, Volric. I do. The same goes to you, though. I am, as you can see, I'm in a pretty big position here now. But yeah, I can always try to help you within reason, of course. But thank you.
Well, Shifty here is going to want to conscript more than a few crew members, but I was hoping you could help with that. Some people that we can count on, some experienced folk, not necessarily the types that hang out in the taverns and make trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll put a good word in at the Mariners Guild, and they'll have some good crew for you if you want to head over there.
Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you,
As we're
Volric.
walking out, I'm gonna whisper
ahead.
to Aspen, is like, is Volek his grandpa?
He's certainly old enough to be.
That's very funny.
I'm your
I,
father.
as the others are leaving, I want to stay behind
Yeah. Okay.
for a second, and I want to go up to Galen, and I have to ask him some stuff about the empty net.
Yeah, so you're all like leaving the building, and Galen is like saying goodbye to the other council members who are still like kind of doing paperwork, and he kind of leaves. I do have my business to run. I'll see you all around. Goodbye. And he kind of enters out into the big counselor's hall, and sees you standing there, Aspen. Oh, Aspen. Huh. How's everything going down at the empty net?
It's going well. Madam Larissa told me to speak with you. She said that, well, knowing that you run the distillery in town, she said speak to you to see if we can bring in something new.
Oh, yes. Why don't you come with me, and your friend, and he kind of looks out the door where Volric and
No.
Shifty are.
This is a conversation between you and I. Shifty sadly does not work at the empty net.
Understood, of course. Yes, we have some wonderful new spirits. Why don't you come on over? We'll sample some, and we can have some fine drinks, and you can decide what Larissa would like.
Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that.
Oh, wonderful. Well, let's head on over there. And he kind of starts to lead you through town as he heads back to his residence. Before we resolve that, Aspen, is there anything anybody else is doing as you all kind of spread out into town? No?
I'm gonna hug Lady Madame Larissa and be like, we're on the up and ups.
Yeah, she pulls you in, gives you a hug. Ah, yes, my boy. This is wonderful. You did a wonderful job. Yeah, she does the kiss on the sides of the cheek. Go, Volric. What were you gonna say?
Yeah,
Can I just
I'll
get a
make
word
sure
in?
Yeah. Easy.
Easy, please.
350 gold pieces each. Add that. I'm done.
I'm sorry, say it one more time. I didn't hear him. I'm sorry.
350.
350. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. You
So
rock.
everybody gets that. And if somebody can let Sethreth know, in one of our chats.
Or we can all share the 350. I'm kidding.
No.
Okay.
I'm right here.
I lean towards Shifty and I say, I hope you consider me as your first mate.
Absolutely.
Then
You're a natural on the ship.
As your first mate, I would like to hire half of our crew, the core.
All right, you can hire some, but we should approve them together because they need to be able to listen to a captain and not just look to you only.
No problem with that. All right then, I have a contact. I'm going through the Mariners Guild. You probably have other avenues. We can bring them all together.
I'll shake his hand. Still a deal. A team.
I use 3 of my fingers and shake his hand.
Okay. All right. So you two make this deal, part ways, head off into town to do whatever you're gonna do. And if Aize and Rin, if you don't have anything that you want to jump in on
this
real
is
quick.
More so as a player, are we just assuming Eloise? I'm
Yes.
hoping I'm remembering it correctly, and they're just on the ship right now.
So Eloise, yes, Eloise and Oceanus, they waited aboard the ship. Oceanus actually, he, as you pull up, Rin, you notice Oceanus is just like wide-eyed, looking at this bustling little fishing town. And as you all are getting off the ship, you hear a splash behind you, and you look and you see him popping up out of the harbor and lean back and start to just like gently swim through the harbor. You see a bunch of dock workers just like looking really confused, and as you're walking, you hear a couple guys like lean over and go, "I would never swim in that filth, my goodness." And Oceanus is just like gently swimming through the water on his back. All right, so... And yeah, Eloise actually heads off into town. And before you all got off the ship, she did a quick aside with you, Aspen, and just said, she says, I'll be waiting at the empty net when you're ready. if you wouldn't mind taking me to where my brother is.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry, I have to do this really quick. I'll be back as fast as I can, okay?
Of course.
You know what? In fact, tell either Raffian or Ellis to bring you something on your house from me. Tell them that it's coming from me, and they should set you up really well.
Oh, all right. Thank you for that. I will. Thank you. And she heads off to the empty net. So, Aspen, you are led away after this council meeting, heading through the busy docks, and you can see there is this one just like immense mansion that is just set up right on the water with big bay windows that look out into the harbor and the various docks. And you can see there are actual personal docks that lead up to the bottom of this mansion with some like a really, really beautifully made cutter that's on there. And as Galen is like walking through, he's saying hi to all the workers and waving and kind of smiling and just kind of carousing. It takes you a little longer than it should just to get to his house, which is just down the street. But he eventually...
I'm just rolling my eyes the whole time.
He eventually leads you into the bottom of this establishment, which is it's kind of a business in the bottom part where it appears the housing is upstairs, and it is a small little, almost like a little tasting room in the front where he serves his different spirits, and he leads you into the back where all of the barrels are set up and kind of more of the industry is taking place for this distillery that he has under his residence. And as you walk in, you get that really strong, peaty smell of scotch just wafting through the air. And he leads you to a back room and opens a little door that leads into a tiny office that has windows looking out to sea on one side of the building, and nestles in and sits down and then turns towards you. All right, so lay it on me straight. It all went well? Nobody knows?
Nobody knows. It all went straight. But I must say, you are playing with fire, Galen.
I didn't know that these folks were doing these nefarious things with those poor captives. I just, I didn't know. They offered their services, and I was there, and they offered the best deal. I booked it through your employer, as you know.
I just look at him for a second. So you mean to tell me that you didn't send those two people to that abandoned, where was it, mansion?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You sent them there, knowing that's where Salazar hid his stuff.
I'm sorry, Aspen. Are you accusing me of something?
I'm trying to learn the truth. Are you telling me the truth?
Yes, I didn't know such thing. I didn't know who those two drifters were. I didn't ever even interacted with them.
They described a man who, they said he hid under a cloak and he likes to joke and he cleared his throat way too often, and it reminded me of you.
I mean, that could be anybody.
It could be. That's why I'm coming to you, to ask you straight up, are you the one that sent them there?
No. Are you going to believe me? Because...
Can I make an insight check?
Yes, make an insight check.
18.
He's telling the truth. You don't see any hesitation. You don't see any darting of the eyes. You don't see any nervousness. Now be very careful what you're saying here, Aspen. You know who I am.
I walk up really close to him. And is that supposed to scare me?
Yes, it is.
I'm not scared.
He doesn't flinch and he just stands there looking in your eyes. Okay.
Yeah, just peer back at him.
Well, good for you. Are you going to hurt me with violence? Because that would be really bad for you.
No, of course not, sir.
Good. Uh, good. Then we're at an understanding. Thank you for what you did. You will be receiving payment through your employer, as we discussed. You and your friend. And, I'll make sure that you come to my next private event, if you would like that.
Sure. Before I go,
Mhm.
I would like to mention a name that was mentioned to us. I forgot what it was. Something.
Oh,
Ashwak?
Avitus.
Avitus, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who that is?
No, I don't. Oh, do you know? Who is it?
I don't know. That's what I.
Oh, I don't.
Thank you, sir. I will let Madame Larissa know that you didn't have anything in stock that she preferred.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wish we could have come to a better agreement as he's opening the door and leading you out. Perhaps come back next month. We have a wonderful brandy that I'm working on made with pear, and I was thinking of using something from the sea, because we're on the coast, of course. I'll be seeing you around, Aspen, and give Larissa all my best. And kisses all around. Goodbye.
I tip my hat, I roll my eyes, and I walk away. I walk back to the empty net.
Okay. All right. So as you leave the building, we're gonna kind of open it up a little here. You're all in town. Is there anything that any of you would like to do while in town? We have about a half hour left here, so we can do a little bit. No? Yes?
I would like to talk with Volric as well to say we need to get this ship prepared for voyage.
Okay.
That ship is beautiful, but it's a wreck, including putting a new name on it. So we should probably get that to going right away if we can. I am looking for a price list if you have one, and we can do this off of stream.
We'll do the shopping for the ship probably off stream.
Of course.
Yeah. But yes.
Yep,
So you two spend the day kind of getting all the arrangements made. And again, this is still very early morning. It's probably like 7 a.m. at this point. So you all spend, I'm assuming Volric and Shifty, you're going to spend the rest of the day getting the ship all set up.
Lots of bonding time.
Yeah. So we'll do that off screen because it'll be a lot of discussion of what upgrades you want to buy and crew and all that.
Do I have time to explore the town?
You want to explore the town?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have the entire day. What I would say is that, just to kind of help guide things here a little, we'll say that if it's all right with me saying, you all agree to meet up at the empty net
Sure.
later this evening when you kind of finish all your, chores and stuff. So, Aize, what are you looking for in town? What do you want to do?
Well, I'll grab Sephiroth, which is what I usually do, and I say, let's go check out all of the places where you can drink, because that's probably what you want to do, yes?
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right, then we're going to go look at all the places where we can get good and proper snookered. But that doesn't mean we're going to get snookered, because we're going to meet them at the bar later. Don't forget that, all right?
No promises.
And I also want to see if this town has a magic shop.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation roll for me.
Come on, investigation. Not another 2. No more 2. I'm +8. That's why the 2 is really... Oh, a 5. Okay, that's better than a 2.
Okay, you got 13. Yeah, so are you trying to find the magic shop right away?
Just inquiring about it. We don't have to go there. I just want to know where it is.
So asking around, you are pointed to a collection of buildings on the other side of the harbor. If you look at the map, it's the one with the number 7 on it. You're pointed to that collection of buildings over there, and looking at it, you can see these buildings look to have been probably relatively recently made. Like, they look pretty fresh. They don't have all the moss growing on it. And the style of construction like architectural style, you recognize it as being Termitian. In the kind of like architectural features that are displayed. I mean, it's a relatively simple building, but there's a little bit of flourishes on it, and it's called the Merchants of Woking, or Joaquin. Is it
Joaquin.
Joaquin. Merchants of Joaquin.
Goddess of merchants, she of the golden nipple rings. Yes. I know Joaquin all too well.
So you are pointed to that if you choose to go there, and they inform you that there is a tiefling woman who runs the establishment by the name of Captain. She uses the title Captain. Not entirely certain why, but she uses a title Captain. She goes by Captain Zendros, or Zendros, Captain Zendros. She's a tiefling woman who runs that establishment, and she tends to folk tell you that she tends to have a selection of magic items that she brings in from somewhere far away, and then as you and Sethreth move around town to the different taverns, there are 3 main taverns. There's the Empty Net, which you've been to once before. You do find one at the entrance to town, and that one is called the Wicker Goat. And going into there, as you and Sethreth go in, you see that it is filled with like what look to be guards wearing the banner of the Lord's Alliance, and you see there's a couple here and there what look to be it's not like they necessarily have uniforms, but you hear some conversations, and it sounds like these are folk that work on the canal, the building of the canal. So these are a lot of guards and the miners that are hanging out in this tavern. Going throughout the rest of the town, you eventually find yourselves make a Constitution saving throw for me. You find yourselves heading towards another tavern with Sethreth.
There we go. 15.
15. Okay, you're good. You're doing good. You make your way across. There's this, which catches your attention, Aize. As you go across town, there's a big stone bridge that seems really out of place that crosses the river, that empties out into the estuary. The architecture seems not like it seems old and ancient. And built on this massive stone bridge, there are all these shops and structures just kind of built atop of it. And you cross this bridge heading over to the other side of the harbor, where you find yourself going to a tavern called the Snapping Line. And it is built from the planks and hulls of half a dozen decommissioned ships. So it has a very ramshackle look with big holes on the side, or these like ship holes that kind of make up the roof. You can see where the windows are. They're little portholes. And going inside, the entire place is almost to the point of comical, is like themed nautical. And there are a lot of this time of day, there's not that many people in. There's like 1 or 2 patrons in there. And as you go through, you find out that the owner tries to get you to buy this local drink, which she's trying to convince you to get, and whether you get it or not is up to you. She informs you it's made from from potatoes and lobster meat. And she calls it claw wine, and she's trying to get you to purchase this like local beverage. I don't know if you get it or not.
Oh, I give it to Sethreth.
Oh, okay. So Sethreth takes it. Yeah. So Sethreth drinks it. And
I buy it, and I give some to Sethreth, and I'll take some myself.
Okay.
In smaller quantities, because I'm.
Go ahead and make a con save for me again as you finish up here.
I'm invincible.
Yeah, you are tipsy to be sure, but you are still kind of like keeping a level head. And that drink is, wow, it is strong. It is like some gnarly hooch with really weird flavors. And it's kind of thick, like you could almost chew it. It's really weird. So Yeah, and that's kind of the final tavern that you and Sethreth go and explore. And other than that, is if you're not looking for anything specific.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Just wanted to do the bar hop because that's kind of like Seth and I do.
Yeah.
Seth and I did the last time we were in the town. And
Awesome.
I also wanted to find where the magic shop was. Curious, commission. All right, interesting. And then head over to rendezvous with the rest of the group.
Yeah. So this is like later in the day now. You finished your bar hopping, and now you're heading to the empty net. Volric and Shifty, at the end of you all as well are kind of wrapping up as the sun is starting to set over Saltmarsh and start making your way back towards the empty net. Rin and Aspen, maybe something short if you have something you want to do throughout the day, but otherwise we'll just cut to the empty net. Rin, did you have something?
Mainly, so I would like her, assuming that she's able to get custody of that parrot sooner.
Nobody argues.
Nobody cares about this bird but me. I'm actually going to do speak with animals and talk to our new parrot.
Okay. What do you talk about? What do you ask the parrot? What are you saying to the parrot?
Just to keep it fast, I'm gonna say like initially she's just like very much someone who's used to working with animals, just like very nice, just
make an animal handling check for me first.
Yeah, let's go with that. If I can find it. I'm always blind.
It's okay.
There you go.
Okay, so you cast speak with animals. You start talking to the parrot, and you go up to pet the parrot, and the parrot does go, oh yeah, and it starts talking to you, and it goes, get scritched right back here. And as you reach towards the parrot to go scritch the back of the neck, they go, ah! And they bite towards your finger.
It's like, okay, I should have expected that.
And they got they only rolled a 2, so they miss as you like jerk your hand away, and then they just look at you and go, ha, ha, I'll get you next time. You just watch and see. So
I'm gonna do this every episode just to
yes, please.
So do you ask the parrot anything?
So, truthfully though, I do have a point with this.
Yeah.
Rin does ask, so, looks like you've been in that room for a long while. Do you remember seeing our fishy friend, another prisoner?
Yeah, smells bad. Smells like fish. Real nasty. So I'm getting shoved right in there.
I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I explain the concept of time to a bird?
Many suns, many moods, go up and down, light and dark, go to sleep, light and day.
Have you seen other... I'm like, again, like, how do I talk to a bird?
I don't know, how do you do it? This is weird.
Besides your former pirate friends and lizard people, have you seen any others pass by your room?
Yeah. Many people, going around.
Any memorable ones?
No, all smell the same. All kind of blend together. I don't know. You want to pet my head again?
Just...
Come on, I know you want to.
Just like, with like the holster, like bow, like just kind of goes to tap the top of his head. And I'll just leave
the parrot grabs onto the bow with its beak and then kind of pulls itself up onto the bow and is now crouched there and then looks at you and goes,
I'm gonna get you.
And starts going like hopping down the bow towards your hand that's gripping it.
Wow, look at those fingers.
What do you do, Rin?
I'm starting to see why you were in a cage.
What do you do, Rin?
Shoot it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna put it back in the cage.
Okay, go ahead with the last animal handling check, and then I think this, unless you have anything else you want to ask.
I just have Bert intervene. Okay. All right, last handling.
What's your armor
I
class?
imagine Bert's giving like an evil eye right there to the Paris, like, I'm gonna eat you.
What's your armor class, Rin?
15.
Okay, so it bites you and deals 1 piercing damage as you try to like put it in the cage, and it's too quick, and this parrot goes up and just and bites onto your finger and goes,
Oh, so tasty. Blood. Yeah.
and just is like looking at you as you now like are shoving the bird into the cage and closing it.
Oh my god.
And
It's
they,
just-
as they're in there, just like up against the bars, they're like,
Come on. You don't like me? Come on. I know you want to pet me.
Rin, just to close this, Rin's
Yeah.
just like, I thought of a name, but I don't think it's very nice. And then that's it.
okay, awesome. All right, so, so you all reconvene at the empty net. Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, and I'd like to separate Aspen at some point. We could either do it at the beginning of next show, or
Well,
Okay.
let's see. So I'm gonna just quickly describe as you all gather at the empty net, and we have about 10 minutes. We'll just kind of see what you decide to do, and we might, if Ulrich, yes, we might have a little time for you two to have a conversation. So as you all approach the empty net here in the evening with the sun setting off to the west, out on the ocean, you can see there is a bit of a fog bank forming as the mist starts to come in once more, and the temperature drops significantly. It is about the equivalent of like September in our world, so it is fall, and the air is crisp and cool as you go inside. The building itself is this wide 2-story building that dangles over the muddy harbor from this rocky outcropping, perched on some sturdy stilts. You see that there is a back balcony with ladders that lead down to a rickety dock that kind of wraps around the entire back half. And at this point, as the sun is setting, you see multiple of those little cutters, those little boats starting to drift in and post up. You see some of the fishermen like clapping each other on the back and asking each other about the day's catch. And as you're approaching the front of the building, you see that it is adorned with a bright purple roof, and there's a long porch that wraps around the front. That has purple eaves that hang over it, and there are various folk right now settling in for the night, leaning on the porch, talking with each other, carousing, drinking, smoking, and as you go towards the doors, you can hear the muffled sound of laughter, raucous communication, and music. And as the doors open, you step inside a smoky room, and you can see at the back there is a bar where... Aspen, are you working? Oh, you're muted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
So Aspen is back there with her full outfit on, working the bar, talking to patrons. You see the bar itself is kind of adorned with some various baubles of like fishnets and jars and little lanterns with lights glowing on the inside. There are various tables in this big, wide square building, kind of main hall, and you can hear the clatter of dice as people are playing gambling games and drinking. Up above, you see a little balcony kind of, wrapping around, and a set of stairs that go up, and it looks like there's folks going into different rooms up there. And there's another back door where you see some of those fishermen coming up from the docks and entering in from the back. And that music that's playing, it's this... it's a hurdy-gurdy, if you know what that is. There's kind of this like almost strange, twangy, mechanical sound. And as you come in and look over to the left, you see a small little stage set up, and sitting on there is this kind of bulbous, massive-looking creature that looks like a gigantic toad that's just stood up on its hind legs. And it's just sitting there on kind of a big stool, big old bulbous chin, looking around, and they have like a nice outfit on. And they, in their lap, they have a big hurdy-gurdy that they're just cranking and playing the various notes on and playing this song. And periodically they start to belt out singing with this low, deep, croaking voice. I don't know any sea shanties. I wish I did. But something to the effect of, what was the one you sang, Chris? It was like, if you unmute yourself.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Sure. So yes, this big toad-like creature is playing this hurdy-gurdy and is going, yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. and you enter into this space with all these people. So, welcome to the Empty Net. And Aspen, or let's start with Volric in this last little scene here, because Volric, you wanted to go up to Aspen and talk with her. So you see her; she's working the bar right now.
Yeah. Say, like to buy a drink, maybe a moment of your time, Aspen.
Sure. Have a seat.
So you saddle up to the bar. You can see some crusty fishermen sitting next to you, and there is a scent of like almost like fish in the air, being like right over the harbor.
How many people do I have at the bar right now?
You have two other people sitting at the bar, on top of Volric. The night is just getting started as people are starting to pour in.
I give them both. I look at both of them, and I usher them away.
Oh yeah, so they immediately they nod and grab their drinks and go to an unoccupied table.
I'll have what the locals have.
Of course. I pull a bottle off. I sit a cup right in front of you.
Give him the claw.
So as I start to
You
drink,
can't handle it.
as I start to drink, I message her, and I say, I'd like to talk a bit about the captain, or at least the former captain.
Sure. What would you like to know?
Well, I haven't known you very long, but you don't seem the type to just decapitate someone because you don't like the way they talk to you. And I glean there's a little bit more than that from the way you reacted. Would you like to come clean? I'm still using message.
Sure. That name that we found out, Avitus, I asked him if he knew him outright, and he told me he didn't have a name. Now, if he lied to you or if he lied to me, who knows? I wouldn't trust a word of any smuggler outside of Shifty.
So
I,
Avitus being the potential link to the smuggling operation.
yes,
All right.
I just wanted to see if he knew more than what he let on earlier. And then he tried to he got a little too close. And I didn't like that.
What bit me?
So,
I'm still not getting you. So you're afraid that because he knew the identity, the name of the contact, that somehow that was a problem, and that aggravated you, and then he got in your face and so you killed him?
yeah.
Remind
I'm
me
sorry,
not-
Vogue. Like I said, you are new around here. We like to have conversations before we murder people. So as you can see, I had a conversation with him and it amounted to nothing. So therefore he had no useful information.
Yeah, but he was worth an extra 250 gold, and he kind of upset a couple of
Gold
my
you can
friends.
surely make up.
Yeah,
Are you saying you're not capable of making that up?
of course I am. Mostly I just wanted to know who it is that I'm riding with.
You want to know about me? Okay. I am a daughter of Torm. I work here at the Empty Net, as you can see. These are my friends. I point to the Ballywog that's lurk. This is Ellis and Raffin. You see two servers come and take the drinks that I'm like simultaneously pouring while I'm talking to you. I've known most of these patrons for a very long time. I am a simple person.
That's it. So why do you adventure?
Because I would like to see the world.
That's a very good reason, actually. Okay, so last question. We can move on. Maybe get together with the rest of the group if you can get off work. But are you prone to do something like this again if we have a captive and they get sassy with you?
Well, I guess we'll have to see, won't we?
Well, so you see how I work. I don't try and make people be anyone other than who they are. But now I know that if we have someone who has a bounty on their head, if it's easier to kill him, maybe I'll just kill him, because I don't want to go to all the trouble of knocking out his teeth, tying him up, which can be a pain in the arse, and then having somebody decapitate him. So at least I understand where you come from.
I'm sorry, but your, I guess, muscle, Sephiroth, he was gonna throw him overboard.
Yeah,
And
well, that was a bit of a goofball move, and I don't particularly condone that myself.
you know what, Vorik, you seem to strike me as someone. Well, as I said earlier, you have a very commanding presence, yes. And anybody can see that when they look at you. I just want you to know one thing. If you ask us to jump, don't expect me to ask you how high.
Mhm.
I'll play by the rules. I will. But if I have other interests outside of whatever this group is doing, I'm going to pursue them. And that is me being very real with you. Since you asked for honesty, of course.
Yes. Thank you for being candid. In fact, I don't have much of a problem with any of it. I just need to understand who I'm riding with. Maybe we get back with the group now. Can you get up work?
At this
Here.
point, the
And
doors
you can have
burst.
it, that's on a house.
The doors burst open, and Sephiroth comes stumbling in. Oh, there you all are! And just comes towering into the room. The music stops. There's some like screeches of tables as everybody turns and looks, and they see this big ass half-orc standing there. And then Aize, I'm assuming you come in behind. And Rin. Oh yeah, go ahead, Aize.
Storm the bloody crows. Is that right? Is that how you say it?
I don't. Yeah. And
Let's put a strip on the Bobby.
and there's a kind of a moment of silence, and then everybody in the bar cheers back, and the music starts up again as Rin and Shifty come in from behind, and you all are now in the empty net. And next time we can do a little bit of role play in the empty net if y'all want to, but otherwise we'll see what happens. It's kind of up to you what you all do next. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight.
Right.
Thank you everybody for joining. This was a lot of fun. Thank you to all the players. You all did wonderfully this evening. Is it anybody want to plug anything before we quickly head out?
Only that Nathan's available for parrot voiceovers. If any of you guys are making a movie.
Yeah. I don't know what I was expecting, but I'm pleased.
Are you gonna?
Oh, do we?
Go ahead.
And the name
Oh
of it
yeah,
is
yeah.
level up now?
Yes, everybody levels up. If the one thing we'll do on stream here is let's have everybody roll their hit dice. I know other streams do it. I think it's fun. So why don't we have everybody roll their hit dice? Yeah, let's do it right now.
Okay,
So let's
Do you want us to just-
here. I'm gonna kind of like the intros. Let's start with Chris. Why don't you go ahead and roll your hit dice?
Okay, hold on. Nice character
Come on,
level.
Chris.
And I am doing the homebrew where you can re-roll ones if you get a one. So
Awesome.
Well, I'm using D&D Beyond.
yeah,
So just roll a D4,
Mhm.
and you can add that later with your con bonus.
I think it's a D6 and 5e.
Oh, is it for wizards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What I
know.
usually do is I just change the level from.
I actually am Volk the Grey in real life too. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna change the number from 5 to 6 and see what happens.
Uh-huh. Oh, if it does it automatically. Oh, you might be set up on D&D Beyond. You might be set up with the average hit point thing. Okay. We can resolve that later. Rin.
Go for
Another
those.
38 hit points.
Sure.
Okay. Rin, Rin, can you roll your hit die for me?
Yeah, but time check. We are 1 minute over.
Yes,
but I
we
don't
are.
know.
It's
Yeah.
I think we're
Okay.
okay because there's no
We
other
are okay.
shows. There's no other shows after us. So.
Yep.
Okay. Rolling d6. Yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh
All
no, Ranger.
No.
No.
That's why I'm like trying to go really fast. I don't
It's
know.
okay. Rangers get a D10. Roll a D10.
All right. That thing.
Hey, 6. Nice.
Hey,
Volric,
all right.
go ahead and roll your hit die.
All right, so I'm gonna be a 3rd level bard, so that'll be a D8.
Okay, go for it.
I just clicked it. Did it come up?
Nope. There it is. Oh my
All
goodness, you
right,
got an
maximum.
8. Nice.
Whoa,
Awesome.
what up?
Go ahead, Aspen.
Uh,
A 2.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no. I'm
that
sorry.
sucks.
All right, let's go with Shifty. Go ahead.
All right. What did I get?
A 4. Okay, nice. Is yours a D6 as well, right?
It is a D8.
Oh, D8. Okay, so you got exactly average. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, with that, let us head out. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.